Ahoy, everybody. Say everybody as if anyone's watching, but it's the way. It's what you gotta do. Just realized I've got some additional things to set up here, but yeah, basically good to go for the day. So what am I doing? Moving this over there. Bear with me. So yeah, today got some, don't have any challenge stuff going today, but be a bit of actual web development, which is rare. As in, going to be actually developing a website, believe it or not. I'll go through what we're doing now in a sec. Yeah, if anyone's idling in chat, happy to have you. It's over there. You can see we very low on followers, but gradually getting there. And maybe by the end of today, be at 25. See me right perfectly where I want to be at halfway to being affiliate. It's a low bar, it's a low goal, but it's my goal. So let's see if we can get anywhere near that today. So what we are working on, hop over to this view. So you can see, yeah, I left the description on. So we're building a weird website. What does that mean? It means that I've been working on my own website, and the goal has not been to be weird. The goal has been to sort of be a place for me to put the stuff that I'm working on and have an excuse to build weird stuff like this animating text, this stuff like, and a place to host the docs for my library. It's kind of interesting stuff, but it hasn't been aspiring to be weird. It's aspiring to look and feel like a website, but hopefully be a bit, have a bit of fun to it, like the way where is it? The way these like little drop downs appear, and interesting little stuff like this dark mode toggle. Bullshit things that are just going to be fun to build. That's the goal for my website, and that's what I've mostly been working on stream. What we're going to be working on today is my girlfriend's website. Now, she is a graphic designer and an artist, and is that like graphic designer and an illustrator. So she's come up with some wild designs. So this is her homepage. I'll just I'll get rid of the description. Yes, we can see that a bit better. So this is going to be her homepage. And just flick through some of these other pages. We'll see. So this is her website. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing how much of this is doable at all. There's a lot of stuff is going to be interesting to figure out how to just fit it on the page. So like this homepage, for instance, it's going to, I think a lot of the website is going to feel almost like a video game. So my goal is that it's not going to really have like regular scroll as you would imagine, that it's going to basically be like a full page web app. And these things are going to have to figure out, we're going to have to figure out how they sit on the page. So like down here is just going to be these little sections with links off to the social media things, little magic arrows that lead the way to a different part of the website. And this is all going to have like fancy animations. This logo is going to spin when you hover it. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff here. Nothing here should be too difficult. Just a lot of figuring out positioning and responsiveness. Shouldn't be too bad. Some other things here. So like this one, I think it's basically meant to be like an endless corridor. So as you scroll, it goes horizontal and reveals the next section, and shouldn't be too impossible. Basically, what's going to need to be figured out here is how to nicely adapt vertical scrolling input to be horizontal scroll. And honestly, I have no idea how to do that. That's the kind of thing that I think I would like to build into the LocalBoast library. So I could see when we get to something like that, there'd just be a massive detour of switching away from the website into the library and building stuff out there. Yeah, should be a bit of fun. She's also looking for sort of like a sprite animation. So like when you scroll, this will switch between different states. So we're gonna have to figure out a nice way of doing that. See if there's like a standard way of animating sprites in the website, or if it's literally just in the render cycle, switch out the source. Probably be as simple as that, but we'll see. I imagine I'll probably only look at this homepage today, but yeah, there's some other stuff in here, like some other stuff in here. Like I think this is basically meant to be like a storefront, like a way of actually buying things. I feel like I'm not going to mess around with like Shopify integrations or anything. It's probably just if you click on one of these, it takes you away to a separate website. Maybe things like price will be pulled in dynamically, but I don't know. And again, this will have that whole, you can see there's a little scroll arrow. This will also have that same, as you scroll vertically, it actually scrolls horizontally thing, which in terms of accessibility might not be great, but figure it out. Through all this, I'm going to try to keep it accessible, make sure where possible that interactable things are accessible through like keyboard, just usual accessibility things, that like, yes, you can access this horizontal scrolling through keyboard navigation and stuff. Shouldn't be too bad. This one is the really interesting one, because it basically, I think the idea is that like it'll scroll almost like the, you know, like a Star Wars title screen, that it won't just scroll vertically, it'll be like perspective and going off into the distance as you scroll. And so my understanding is that should be pretty simple. Well, not simple, it should be doable. How about that? Because I think there's such a thing as, from what I was looking into there is such a thing in just regular CSS as 3D rotation as well as perspective changing. So I imagine if you just have all these laid out on the page as if it's a regular website with scroll, and then you put that container, you give it a perspective distortion and a rotation, you're good. That's my hope anyway. I think it looks really cool just in that it feels, just from this, very much it feels like a video game. It's giving me Inscription vibes, which the regulars of the channel know that I'm a big Inscription fan. So yeah, I think this will be a fun one to play around with and see if we can get some nice like perspective stuff built into the library. I think it'll take building it ad hoc, seeing how the hell perspective warping stuff works, and seeing is there a nice way to abstract it into the library. So yeah, I don't know too much about this. I think it's basically just a contact form with the stylized stuff. I'm probably gonna ignore this because there's nothing too funky about this. I basically just wait until I get the proper assets. This one might need some thinking. Basically, I think it's meant to be like a blog section almost, just a place that information can be posted, you know, article sections talk about herself, but that when you scroll, it flips the page. Now, I have no idea how we're going to go about that. If we have a convenient way of doing the perspective and 3D rotation stuff, we could potentially just have like 2D planes that like animate through space as you turn the page, and all the elements on the page will be correctly placed. But I guess that would probably mean like each page would have to be double-sided, so you'd have to have two separate planes animating together, and you might get like, you know, things flickering in and out of existence like you have with video games, or like flicking, you know, clipping through each other, that kind of stuff. Or I could just go full like 3D library, embed Unity in here or something, and have like pages actually being able to warp and be fluid and stuff. I think this is going to be a bit of a mindfuck if we go too far with it, so I'm not going to do that yet. And now this one is just going to be like a map, just sort of I think this is sort of the navigation, like if you're anywhere on the page and you click the menu navigation, I think they all had like a little compass, or at least some of them have like a little compass here. So I think, yeah, when you click that, it takes you to this map probably unfurls or something. Which could maybe just be like a GIF, like a pre-rendered, like unfurling GIF. Could be interesting. But yeah, what my problem with this is I feel like everything else can be figured out to work on a responsive UI. So like this one, I'm interested to see how dynamic we can make it, such that like, can we have all this fitting on the page in, you know, mobile portrait view and get it to all be visible, landscape, all this stuff. I think it's doable. It might take a lot of finagling. And this one is just going to be a case of like, how many frames do fit on screen, and, you know, just size it based on the height. That should be, most of this should be doable in terms of responsiveness. I have no idea what we're going to do with this one, because, you know, if we have this all be responsive, it's basically just going to have to scale down really far. And one thing I'm considering is like, say this, these individual things, the castle, the teacup, post office, those could be like floating assets that themselves don't distort. They just scale up or down. And then the map in the background might actually distort to, you know, constantly fill the screen. And maybe that would work. But it might end up looking bad, because we might end up with like the mountain assets getting really skewed and stretched. But it might be doable. We'll see. Be a bit of fun. The one thing to say about all this is it's all kind of wireframes. It's all rough drawings. And what I'm going to be working on today, there's going to be no finesse to it. It's going to be proofs of concept. So yeah, like with this, I'm literally just going to be like screenshotting this or cropping out some of this and then sticking that into the website as the asset that we want to use there. And then, yeah, once we've got it more or less working, slot in the actual assets, make it look actually polished and clean. We're not doing any polish today, or for the next month, probably. So yeah, I'm just gonna, what I've already done is laid out the core, the sort of skeleton of the website, which I've done just by forking the localboast.com code base. And basically, because I didn't want to spend hours figuring out what needs to be installed, how and where. It ended up still being a bit difficult because of the way I've got LocalBoast as a local dependency. And so I had to figure out like how portals and how, when I build LocalBoast locally, does it update Enchantress? Enchantress being the name of the website we're building here. There is already enchantress.com. Did I spell that wrong? .uk. Yeah. So here's Rosie's current website that's just made in Webflow. And there's the, oh my god. Oh no. I've never seen that load in so slowly. Jesus. Okay, well, good thing the website's being rebuilt. So yeah. So this is the website we're going to be replacing. We're not going to be messing around with this really. It was built in Webflow, so it was like really working around and overhauling existing stuff that's already there. And I don't really want to do that again, especially because my understanding, my knowledge and how to make things look nice and feel good is in React. And I know you can override anything in Webflow by injecting custom CSS and custom JavaScript, but then it's all like vanilla stuff, and that's just not my wheelhouse. So yeah, this is what we're replacing. We're not going to think too much about it. So yeah, I'm not going to be putting like a timer on the screen, but I am still leaving the description as trying to build the website as fast as possible, because I'm giving myself like, I don't know, 3 hours to work on it today. And I just want to see how far we can get with it. Can we get anywhere remotely looking like even this? So I'm going to start with, yeah, I'm just going to start by doing some screenshots. So Or will I just properly download this thing? Download. Red. Just gonna switch camera while I sort this out. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go so rough with this. I'm just gonna open this in Krita, which is like it's the image editing library I use. There's probably nothing on screen that's incriminating here. Nah, we're good. Right, so we've got this in here and I'm just gonna hack this up into the different elements. I never really know how Krita works. Is this the one where I can... Yeah. Doing such a good job here. In my previous desk setup, I had like a Wacom, like a fancy Intuos drawing tablet monitor, and I kept meaning to like do interesting stuff on stream with it and never once used it. And now that I'm doing stuff that actually really would benefit from it, it's in the other room and I don't have access to it. Yeah, fork that over there. I'll do the same with this one now. How do I... Oh, I really don't understand Krita. I don't know what I just did. Okay, I think we're good. So hopefully this doesn't end up being too embarrassing of a stream in terms of trying to get a lot of stuff done. And it turns out like 3 hours down the line, I'm still just trying to load in an image. But after seeing the Webflow version of the website, I'm a little nervous about loading in images now. Oh my God, my mouse is going crazy. So yeah, I'm a little, well, I need to stop saying so yeah. I am proud of myself for at least streaming today. Might be way less successful than I was the last day, but that will just be further proof that my streams go well when I have a challenge going in them. Because the last time I streamed was one of the punishment programming things that I had done before that also went really well. And it was anytime I made a typo, I had to go and do a typing test on monkey type. And that stream went well. Got like 4 or 5 followers, possibly a record. Boastingcountries.com, and everything's frozen. Yeah, so what we might find is if on this stream, not having a challenge to fall back on just makes it not fun at all. Having actual work to do, might realize, oh shit, I am not an interesting boy. So what am I going? Left leaf.png. I'm just going to copy this URL in case it doesn't remember to use it over here. Sweet. Right leaf. .pung. Okay. So I'll get the actual website visible on screen, will I? There we are. Pop him down over there. I'm torn between having the music louder or quieter. I feel like it's louder than I'd normally have it, but I'm not being that interesting. Maybe I'll just leave it where it is. All right, this is stuff I was working on for the library, so we don't want that. Let's see, I think it was called homepage. Yep. So how will we go about this? So I'll get rid of this. This is just test stuff I was working on. So what is a sensible way of laying out this? So like actual container layout stuff. Should I, yeah, everything should probably be like fixed, like absolutely positioned or fixed position. So the topmost element, I don't think I need to worry too much about what it is. I'm just gonna stick it as a div. Give it, we'll play around with CSS, will we? Class name. So we already have a styles here. Sweet. And we've got a home wrapper. Because this is, as I said, I just forked this from my website and then tried to take out everything that was like specific to the website. So class name will be styles.homewrapper. Is that what it was called? Nope. Pascal case. Camel case. Okay, and home wrapper, it's gonna be height. So yeah, here I want to be using a custom VH attribute because there's this thing. Basically, my instinct was to have like height be 100 VH and width be 100 VW. So you can see that like I can set width as 100 VW and that's fine. It tells the element to completely fill the viewport. But there's an annoying thing with height where on mobile 100 VH doesn't always mean the viewport height because of the nav bar, the nav bar that appears at the top of your phone's browser. It's like it's sometimes there and it's sometimes not. You know, when you like scroll a website, sometimes the nav bar disappears and then comes back. And because of that, you can't guarantee that 100 VH is the viewport height. Or I guess it's like the difference between what's the viewport and what's actual area that the app can render in. And so a workaround to always have it be consistent, to always know that like whatever is visible on the device, that is the unit to use. We can register this custom VH thing. And that's something that's done by the LocalBoast library, attach custom VH. And that just sets up this automatically updating thing using the inner height and dividing it by 100, giving you 1% of the actual app usable inner height, and having that be constantly updating so that we can reference this VH --VH variable. So that's why I'm doing this funky thing here. It's a bit zoomed out. There you go. Cool. I'm gonna just say like overflow hidden, because there shouldn't be any overflow, but on the off chance that there is some like scroll bars causing overflow, like annoyances or like borders causing a 2-pixel overflow, we don't want to have to deal with that. So I'm just making it hidden, and anything that happens to fall off the screen, we don't care about it anyway. Sweet. And position be relative. Think that makes sense. Sweet. And I guess just to prove that that works. Screw it. Let's just stick a silly background color. This is my favorite way of verifying the size of something, size of an element. Just background color blue. Where? Yeah, why did I pop this out? Just keep it over here. Right. So see what's happening now is I think page wrapper is adding padding that we don't want. And so we are still ending up with scroll because the page is adding like 20 pixel padding. So what would be a good way to get rid of that? I think we don't even want padding on the pages, because that came from my website, where it's a website that's laid out with scroll and content being inset like it's a normal website. We don't care about that here. Page wrapper. Where is that? I'm just going to inspect this and see where this actual padding is coming from. Is that just on the body? So page body. Oh yeah, there is a body component. There it is. And he has got 20 pixel padding. Aha, so the body was already doing this. This thing. We don't have a header in this app, so I'm going to get rid of that. We need calc. Okay, so this is already doing that sizing stuff that we wanted. So over in the home page, I'm just going to make height inherit from the parent, or rather, instead of being 100%, literally just inherit. Cool. Or would it make sense for this to literally just be display contents? Huh. So you can't have a background color on a thing that's display contents. That's fine though. I don't think we actually want that. So let's stick with that for now. Left leaf. Position. So I'm never certain when is a good time to use absolute versus fixed. So let's just learn from our mistakes and go absolute for now. Left being 0, bottom being 0. And what would be a good way of figuring out the widths and stuff here? If I have it be a third of the screen width, I'm probably going to need to set constraints of like max height, so that it doesn't, if you're on like a really wide screen, that it doesn't go above, above halfway maybe. We'll see. So if we say width being 33%, screw it, I'll just stick that in for now. Max height 50%. Should probably be. I was gonna make it be have these things to be applicable to the left leaf and the right leaf. I was gonna be like target the leaf class and then target leaf and left, but that's needlessly complex, and using it in the JavaScript will be even more awkward. So I'm just gonna go something like this. So have those common settings apply to both, and then just have these position specific ones. Okay. So these leaves, actually, we're going to be actually adding them in now. So these leaves aren't just going to be images, because they need to be containers with a bunch of little animating sprites eventually, and each of these is going to be a button. So I guess I'm just gonna have these be just divs for now as well. Class name styles dot left leaf. So now here's the part of web development that I always have to look back at previous examples of. At chat sketch. So here I've got like a container panel. So just to figure out how I do importing of images. So I'm importing it like that, and it's coming in as a source string. Sweet. And that's in, where am I storing that? That's like a local assets folder. Sweet. So left leaf image. Just stick assets here. So need to try to remember where I put my assets. Here they were. Okay. Yeah, see, I had them at like assets for the entire website, but they really don't need to be. They just need to be things in here, just like locally referenced, nice containerized assets. Get rid of them from up here. Because I think the benefit of having them at the top level assets folder is that they don't get minimized, or the path name doesn't change. So that's why I've got like cookie policy and privacy policy here. And what that allows is that you can go to say localboast.com/privacy. I might not have deployed it since I added this. Let's check. Yeah. I think, yeah, screw it. Yeah, in theory, that would be a way to actually directly look up the assets folder. And so it's a handy way of having like a fixed reference to a thing. But the way Vite works, we can just have a locally defined reference to these assets, and it will figure out a nice way to store them with the actual build. So I've completely lost where I am in the file tree. Here we go. So yeah, they're called left leaf and right leaf. This is one of those times where I'm doing a load of code without actually verifying how any of it looks. And so I've just got it in my mind that like, I'm going to click save, let the build go, and it's just going to look and feel exactly how I want it to. It's definitely not going to do that, but a man can hope. So we're going image. What is the thing for presentation, for like accessibility things for images? Role presentation. Source being left leaf image. Okay, so what do we got? We got a blank screen. Doesn't like my sass. Oh, makes sense. Oh, okay, so we're rendering a thing. The scroll is all over the place, so the images are taking absolute liberties. So how do we fix that? Max height 100%, max width 100%. That do it? So they're still scrolling. Is that because it's conflicting with this rule? Okay, so it's almost good. Yeah, so I need to figure out the bounds better. It's obeying the 1/3 of the screen width rule. It's obeying that real good. Oh, why is this over there now? Aha, okay. So the image needs to float, right? What would be a good way of doing that? If I make this display flex, oh no. So if I give this guy margin left auto, no. Okay, so making the image display flex seems to work. Display flex, and the right leaf image margin left auto. Instead of resizing the window, I'm just gonna pop it into this little guy, zoom it out if I can. Oh, I really don't know how Firefox debugger works. I really just got to switch back to Chrome. I was just expecting there to be like a zoom level. I don't know. I'm going to turn this off. I don't like it. So why are these like overflowing? Is the container presumably is pinned to the bottom. Yeah, it is. But then the child is getting bigger than the container. So in here, it has max height being 100%. If this is instead where I set max height to be 50%. What if I make it 50 VH for shits and giggles? That does fix it. Oh, that's annoying that fixes it. So like this is pretty ideal that it's getting no bigger than the full height of the screen, or than half the full height of the screen. But it will, once it's within that bounds, it'll keep getting bigger and bigger, so long as it's not more than 1/3 of the width. Damn, I'm really happy with that. Okay, how do we make that work without using fucking VH? I'm gonna put on some more fun music. I've got like, I'm just shuffling my entire playlist. So it was going into like the gloomy, tense track. So yeah, scaling images has never quite been my forte. But I want to make this work. I'm tempted to just make everything flex and figure out how to make that work. But I want to figure out why. If I put this back to being max height 100%, so that the images aren't dictating size of anything. They're simply saying, be as big as you like. Actually, what's a way to fill parent? So if I make them be width 100%, height 100%, but have the bounds on the parent. So that way, in theory, the parent box should be able to dictate itself, and the kids will scale to fit it. That doesn't seem to be happening. It's got, oh, is it because it's absolutely positioned. So instead of being absolute, is this a case where like fixed helps? No, because it is actually respecting that, isn't it? Absolute worked fine. I'm not going to get rid of it until it screws me over. So this guy is respecting the rules. The image, however, is not. Fit, image fit. What is the CSS attribute for like image fit? Object fit. Is that what I want? Get rid of that. I realize I'm typing where I am on the screen, but you're just gonna have to deal with that. I'm talking through the process anyway. Object fit contain. If I just flick through all these, will it show me the options? Nope. Well, it's showing me the options, but none of them work. Would a different display option help? Nope. So, just gonna rubber duck myself. Go rubber duck yourself. So this container is correctly sizing. If I make him flex, what happens? Nothing. Nothing changes. So max height. What if I do my favorite trick? Height 0, min height 100%. So yeah, it's just not adhering to parent sizing of 100%. What if the height inherits? Ooh. Okay. So we inherit the height. We inherit the width. No, it didn't like that. Weird. Okay, because there's no max height set. So if I just set height as 50%. Inherit height and inherit width. Weird. If it's inheriting this guy's height and width, I don't know why it's going so small. Would object fit be relevant now? No. What about now if we just stick max width and stuff on? Okay. It's kind of doing it. It's distorting. But I think we're nearly there. So yeah, we basically just want this, but instead of skewing here, we just want it to scale. So why can I not resize this? God damn it, Firefox, you are terrible. What the shit? This is the mobile thingy. Why can't I resize this? Am I like a complete twat? Okay, now it's working. Fuck's sake. Right. So everything, it's working great. Other than that. So now let's fix that. At this point, object fit will save us. Contain. So I just need to fix their positioning. Oh, why is it going off the screen? I don't know. But we'll make it work. If I make them both margin top auto. No, it's just an annoyance with object fit. So it's fitting within its parent box, but it seems to always be centered. Object position. Haha. Awesome. Fucking sweet. Seems to be doing exactly what I want. Okay, so now I simply need to copy all of this over to CSS. Okay, do we need display flex? Is the question. Just figure out what of this we actually need. Yeah, so we need that. We need that rule, definitely. That might be a bit aggressive. What is our design? Yeah, I feel it can probably go a bit closer. We say 40%. And we need all that. Okay, so this is our core leaf object. So we got absolute, bottom 0, width 40, and we just want it to be height rather than min height, or max height, sorry. Height 50%. Cool. Yep, and then the image. So we still want margin left auto, right? Yeah. Okay. So what of these do we need? We need margin top? No, we don't need that. God, this music is... Why is this music on my chill list? It needs to be way more intense. Is this all still working how I want? Yep. Does this need to be display flex? It does. Interesting. Why is that? For margin left to work. Cool. And we want both of these, presumably? Yeah. I'm gonna have to figure out why there's scroll here, but I'm just gonna persist all this before I deal with that. So the image will have max height and max width 100%. Yep, that's already there. It's got display flex already there. So we just need object fit contain and object position bottom. Object. Thank God I'm not doing the typing test punishment system here. Position bottom. Now I'm going to refresh the page and hope that everything isn't broken. Why is this going up there? Oh no, Did I break something? Oh, we did. Oh, I missed margin top, did I? Margin top auto. Where was that? Why is this broken? So does this have to be flex? Yes, okay. Refreshing. And we're all good. We are all good. Sweet. So I just want to figure out why it's why we're getting a horizontal scroll at a certain point. That might just be a thing that happens like on, I think like on all websites. When you go narrow enough, things just sort of shit the bed. No? Is it only React websites? I say React websites, like specifically the ones that I've been using. Yeah, so at a certain point, it does get a horizontal scroll. I have no idea exactly why that is. So maybe that's just what's going on here. Let's see, what is actually scrolling? So at some point, something is getting bigger than its container. So this guy, it's not showing me its height. Awesome. Computed width, piece of shit. 0% or 0 pixels. Okay, so his width is 247. The root is 247. Body's 320. Okay. Why is that? Okay, body has a min width set on it. I don't know why. Is that just in the code somewhere? What am I doing? Min width. I want to search incantress.com. Yeah, it was just a min width on the body. Don't want that. Yay, and now we don't have a weird pointless scroll. Awesome. If anyone is watching, thank you for being so silent and let me get on with that. As a little treat. Let's mix it up. Let's play Pokedoku. So yeah, as I keep saying, so yeah, that's just a crutch I need to get over. As I always say when I play this, the 2 times I played it on stream, my capture card is real bad at capturing color correctly. This is not how it looks on my monitor. It does not look pure white. There was a way to like make it show that it's not meant to look this way, but I cannot remember. So yeah, there is a little grid here, but you don't need to care about that. You all know what Pokedoku is, and if you don't, you'll catch on. So we need a bug fairy. Okay, I'm already not going to get that. As a branched evolution, think I will be able to get that. Hoenn, oof. Don't want to screw myself over with these two. Okay. Psychic is not great for me. Psychic fairy especially, not great. Middle evolution should be fine. Middle evolution with a branched evolution is going to be weird. Anyway, I'm going to start with branched evolution. So, the Wurmple that branches, and it goes either to Silcoon or Cascoon. I think. Yes, I'm sure. Yes. Okay. So, Psychic. Slowpoke either becomes... Oh, is it Slowpoke becomes Slowking? Or Slowbro that becomes Slowpoke, right? Yeah, because instead of getting a Shelter to fight him, it's Oyster? I don't know what big ass shell is grabbing him. So, Slowpoke. Hopefully. Yeah. Oh, so it's... I guess it's the same thing. It's the same looking Pokemon. I've never seen a Mega Evolution Slowbro before. That's silly looking. Cool. Okay, so middle evolution with branched evolution is a weird one. Yeah, really no idea. So what has a branched evolution? You got like your Eevees, where you can give them a choice of evolution stone. Probably fucking Poliwhirl either evolves into Poliwrath or Politoad, I think. So let's go Poliwhirl. Sweet. Wow, with that many people going for it, that must be like the one to go for. So, okay, so Hoenn. I'm just gonna go Cascoon. Hoenn Psychic. I'm never certain with like the Psychic Gym is the one with the double battles, right? So like the Lunatone and Solgaleo. No, the Solrock. Is that what it was? Just testing that. Solrock. I feel like they're both Psychic, but I'm not certain. But I'm not sure if I'll get one otherwise. So awesome. Okay. And a middle evolution Hoenn should be the easiest one to get because we can just go for a starter. So a bug fairy. I really don't know fairy types. Like I've played some of them. Like played some of the ones with fairy type in them. But it's really not this is always where I fall down. So I'm just gonna. So in terms of Pokemon that have fairy in the name, there's not many. You got Clefairy. But I feel like Clefairy is really annoying in that I don't think it's Psychic type. It's like it's a type you expect it to be something and it's not. In that I've gotten screwed by it before. I think it's that I expect it to be Psychic Fairy and it isn't. Fairy Bug. What? Oh no. I was thinking Fairy Grass might be like Shaman. Or what's that one that's like a circle? It's like a flower chain Pokemon. I don't know. I was thinking that as well, but that's probably grass rather than bug. No. I was thinking it was Celebi. Was he a bug? But he's somebody grass. Grass and bug have way too much crossover. Hot take, but they don't need to be two different types. if we don't count Clefairy as a middle evolution, I'm gonna riot because Cleffa retroactively made it the middle evolution. Sweet. So Psychic Fairy. Yeah, I don't think anyone's watching, but as the coffee bot thankfully just posted into chat, yeah, you can donate to me through coffee.com, at the link posted into chat there. But if you'd rather support me in a more affordable way, you can just follow me, because that's really where what I'm aiming for. Because once I get enough followers, then I can run ads and milk money out of you without you even trying. So I feel like I'm just not going to get a Bug Fairy. I'm tempted to just go for Shaman. It's definitely not Bug, right? Anyone in chat want to make any suggestions? I'm trying to think when fairy type came in. It was in Gen 6, right? So, what you call it? Shit, what is it called? The one with Mega Evolution. What was that game called? X and Y? Yeah. I think that's when it was added. I feel like it just kind of flew under the radar for me, at least. Like, they didn't make a big deal out of it. You just sort of, oh shit, he's fairy type now too? Cool. You're part of me, I'm part of you. And now there's nothing left to do. I don't know. Wait till I'm in control. Who'll be laughing then? I drove you round the bend and I'm laughing. Fuck it. It's gonna be wrong. Yeah. Psychic Fairy. I'll try it. Like, it'll be really annoying when this isn't right. Yeah. Oh. So what middle evolution will I go for? I'll pick one that's not a starter, will I? What's a fun pre-tier Gen 3 Pokemon? I'm struggling to think of Gen 3 Pokemon at all. What's the bird of Gen 3? It's Wingull, isn't it? I don't think there is like a Pidgey equivalent there. Screw it. I'm just gonna go Grovyle? Or is that the full of, yeah, Grovyle. 10%. Not too bad. Okay, so what? Gardevoir, Psychic Fairy. Interesting. So Ralts. So the entire Ralts line, I guess, except for the guy, third evolution, whatever it is. Rapidash Galar, I'm not going to remember that. Fuck off, Screamtail. Mr. Mime. Okay, that should be memorable. Ralts just doesn't scream fairy to me. But maybe I'll lock that away. Mr. Mime and Ralts. Just gotta commit that to memory. Bug Fairy. I'm not gonna remember Rubombi and Cutiefly. I hate not only that this was in the quiz with 2 fucking answers out of all like 900 Pokemon, whatever, but the fact that supposedly 81% of people guessed correctly. And I don't know if that just means that like a shitload of people didn't know the answer and didn't even try, or if it's that people playing this are such big fucking nerds that they all knew. Yeah, I hate that. It makes me angry. This game makes me angry. I shouldn't play it. Oh, where were we? I should probably get her like favicon going. Download website fav icon. I could just ask her to send me the asset, but it sounds like a lot of effort. Can I just do fav icon ICO? Is that what it is? Yeah. Yeah, not found. Yeah, it seemed unlikely to work because you can set the fav icon to be different file types, I think, and you can probably reference it from other places. Yeah, you can't always add. That's what he's saying. Oh well, I'll leave it as is. So we've got these bits sizing correctly. What's the next piece that makes sense to fit in here? So the arrows. Yeah. The arrows should probably... They should probably be like positioned relative to the path that they're on. But the path is probably just going to be like an asset in the background. So I guess we could either try to figure out where the path asset should be and then have the arrow positioned relative to that, or we should just position the arrows on the screen and then ensure later on that the overall path asset lines up with it. I'm tempted to go with the latter because that way I don't need to worry about like having the path image be separate from the overall image. We can just worry about the positioning down the line. So yeah, so let's just create these. Let's just create these little arrow assets. Deselect. I'll grab you. This is how professional website builders do it. Just pour cropping around images, including, you know, drop shadows. It doesn't matter if you only grab some of the shadow or too much of it. This is how the pros do it. So that's the left one. A real pro would just flip the same asset. Okay, it probably is just the same asset flipped. I'm not going to bother copying it twice. Fine. Save as hung. Top left arrow. So, oh my god, why is this so slow? It's because it's like looking up a remote database because this through Windows subsystem for Linux, but it still feels needlessly slow the way it's looking up here. One page. There we go. I'm also being inconsistent with my file naming. Sue me. You go away. So I'll bring him in. What did I call it? Top left arrow. Top left arrow. Oh my god. Such typos. I have not improved from all the typing tests I did the other day. So in terms of stacking, here's a question. Here's a question right now. Do we want the arrows to be floating above the leaves or underneath? Probably underneath, right? To give the actual illusion of depth. Yeah. Div class name. Styles dot. I'm just going to go left arrow. So this one, like it is going to be an image, or it is going to be a button, but I can worry about making it a button down the line. just going to leave it as an image for now. So there's our top left arrow. And we'll do right arrow. So this is going to be top left arrow. Do I flip it with CSS or do I flip it with JavaScript is the question. I'll just use CSS. Left arrow, and I'll do the same thing I did before with the leaves, where I'll apply some common styles to them and then override, well, not override, specify custom ones further down. That should not be leaf, it's arrow. So what am I pasting in here? We probably want these absolutely positioned as well. And considering how intertwined they should be with the leaves, as in, should the two things just have similar constraints, or should the position of the arrows actually be determined by the position of the leaves? No. I think it's nicer if the leaves can kind of overlap to give sort of a perspective thing. Yeah. I'm going to leave them as separate for now. Position, absolute. So the leaves are going halfway up the screen. So if I make... Yeah, it'll get funky when the leaves are changing their height because of the width constraint. But let's, I'm just going to stick their bottom as being like 30%. Bottom 30%. Left arrow, I'll say left. What would be a nice constraint here? I'll just try like 10% for now. We'll no doubt find that none of this works and I need to completely rethink this strategy, but... Display flicks. I'm assuming I need to put the same kind of image constraints on this that I put on the leaves. Oh yeah, so I need to think about the actual sizing of it. I was just worried about positioning there. So the sizing... So with these, I don't actually worry. I don't actually care if they get distorted. It's better if they get distorted, because that'll sort of give the rotation. I think it might look shitty, but I'll see. Let's just try if I set them to both have height and width 15%. Width 15%. So what would the image be like now? Because I don't want to copy all this over, he says as he copies all of it over. So if I just height and width inherit. Yeah, I don't think I need any of this. How does this look? Oh, I need to flip it, don't I? Transform, scale, 1, -1, 1. Okay. So the flipping worked. It's tiny though. Okay, so the container is fitting. Oh, height and width. It's inheriting 15%. So it's going 15% of 15%. Shit. Okay, so instead of inherit, make this 100. 100. Okay. Okay. So the distorting, yeah, it's kind of what I thought, where it does sort of give a rotation, but it's a bit shit. I'm pretty happy with the positioning though. I think I need to tweak it slightly, especially for this one. But I do like how the different elements are like overlapping each other and do give a sense of depth. Is that around where they'd be fitting on this? So I think these are just going up too high, aren't they? Yeah. Let's pull that back a bit. Height being 50%. I'll cap that to 40. I think that pulled it back too far. I didn't quite like that. Say split the difference, 45. So yeah, I'm having second thoughts about the rotation, the skewing, distorting of the arrows. It's not that bad. It might actually be good. Because it sort of depends on how the final assets look. Because if they're like really stylized and distorting them makes them look horrible, then it's horrible. But with this, it's not too bad because they're such simple assets. There is like rasterization, kind of jagged staircasing going on. Is there anything about in CSS about aliasing? Image rendering. Let's play with this. I've never encountered this attribute before. Image rendering. Okay, so I'm changing this on the leaf now. So it is having a big impact. So auto seems to have some anti-aliasing going on. You guys can't see that at all, can you? So is there any way for me to actually zoom in on this? Probably not. Yeah, because it's all relative to the viewport. Well, oh, if I make this massive, would that work? Yeah, okay, so I can zoom in on the responsive layout. That's cool. And look at how this anti-aliasing changes. So we're looking at this leaf over here. Yeah, I feel like it's still not coming through on camera at all. Oh no. So it's going like really far off camera the more I zoom in. Yeah, maybe that'll split the difference. So let's So from the human eye, so I'm seeing some aliasing going on there. When it's like a 30-degree angle or whatever. But when it's like more fixed, like a kind of a straight line, it's really not bad. Crisp edges is like real jagged. I guess like no aliasing whatsoever. So I wonder, is there any setting that like goes overboard? No. Optimize quality. So it all just seems to be as good as auto. I'm just going to try this optimize quality and see if it makes the arrows look any better. And you know what I need to do? I'm going to make these leaves not be interactable because they are blocking my inspecting of the arrows. Pointer events, none. Pointer events, none. Okay, there's your arrow. So what was it? Image rendering? Yeah, so I don't think that's changing anything. Yeah, so auto is the default value. That makes sense. So is there any difference between auto and optimized quality? It doesn't seem to be any different. Yeah, so it really just seems to be one of two settings. On or off, despite there being fucking 10 things to go here. Smooth. I'm guessing auto just defaults to smooth. Well, that was a shame. Thought it might have been fun if there was some fancy anti-alias setting that sped everything up, but it doesn't seem like it. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the responsiveness of the layout here, given how much stuff we've got in the spec to work with. Need to make the actual bugs their own elements, and we need to make sure that like as the UI is scaling down that they are still big enough to interact with. I guess like if that's a reset. Oh, god damn. Someone's rated 23 viewers. Holy crap. That's my first time ever being rated. Adrian Learns. Thank you so much. Yeah, guess introductions are needed. I am LocalBoast. I'm a web developer, and I quit my job about a year ago. Been working on building a UI library, and right now I'm building my girlfriend's website from scratch and trying to have this year that's sort of like a gap year go by and not feel terrible that I haven't achieved anything. So yeah, awesome. Adrian Learns. I don't think that name is familiar. Are you just randomly rating someone? Looks great. Thank you. Yeah, this is just a thing that I put together this morning even. The LocalBoast itself is a website and UI library that I've been building all about React, like React hooks mainly, and just little reusable pieces like automatic text truncation for like middle text truncation. Got to switch to light mode here because it's still a bit buggy. Yeah, text truncation, silly things like haptic elements, so you can like hover over something and it'll get bigger, and code editor with like automatic syntax highlighting. That's one that I'm pretty proud of. Where was it? Yeah, in here. This is something I built on stream the other day. That you can type in here. Yeah, randomly rating someone with a React tag. Awesome. Yeah, no worries. Cheers for the raid. Really appreciate it. By far the most viewers I've ever had. So if anyone watching, before any of you go away, might as well say I have a follow goal, as you can probably see in the top corner. I am still very small, 21 followers, and a eventual goal of becoming an affiliate. If anyone would consider doing the free action of clicking the follow button and getting me there.
New follower, build a builder.
And I love the fact that anytime I remember to just pour myself out and just say, maybe like, maybe follow,
New follower,
it works.
Rohit Garwad.
Thank you so much to everyone who's following. Yeah, I'm real close to my current goal, which is halfway to affiliate. Affiliate being 50 followers, I think. Yeah. Thank you very much to anyone. So yeah, what I've been working on today, particularly, my girlfriend sent me some wireframes for her new website, and it's basically weird as hell. It's like not laid out like a website is. It's almost laid out like a game, like a more of a web app with like 3D rotations and everything being like sprite animations and stuff. So part of it's going to be me figuring out how a lot of this stuff works. Part of it's going to be, I don't know, a lot of stuff that will probably need to be incorporated into the LocalBoast library. Things like getting this perspective. So the way these cards on this slide are going to work, it's going to be almost like a Star Wars text crawl, where it'll be like 3D rotated and then like going off into the distance. So that one, I'm going to do that on another day. That one I think should be really fun to play around with. It's giving me like Inscription vibes. You know, Inscription, the video game. Am I spelling that right? Yeah, that's one of my favorite games. So every time I see this frame, it makes me just want to feel like I'm building video games in the web browser. But yeah, so this is just the first frame I'm working on. It's literally just the weirdest home screen ever. So it's all got these, where are we? We're over here. So this is what we're working on, trying to get a proof of concept going of that website. Just trying to have all the elements be positioned and somewhat usable, both on like desktop and mobile. It might not work out because the amount of stuff that needs to fit in there, but yeah. So we've got all this stuff going. I need to make these bugs are going to be buttons that link off to social media. I'm going to leave that for now because a lot of this is very much just wireframe. As I said, these need to have proper assets swapped in down the line. So it's sort of like proof of concept of positioning everything on the screen. So I know how to make buttons. So I'm not going to worry too much about that now. So I guess I'll focus on this center pillar now. So this, and probably actually ask Rosie what the point is of these panels. I guess these are going to be two buttons here. So it's just going to be a page navigation, and this will also go off somewhere else. So this will probably just be fixed to the center of the view, and hopefully just make sure everything else fits and like doesn't get obscured by these leaves that are like overlaying. So if anyone, to anyone who's still currently watching, joining me from that raid, feel free to join in and chat, ask what the hell I'm working on, ask questions about React
New
or anything
follower,
in general.
Smiling big.
God damn, this is a good day for me. Yeah, I've streamed like 13 times, maybe more, and usually it's like 1 or 2 followers, and it takes hours to get even there. The last day I streamed, I did like a challenge thing, where I like anytime I made a typo, I had to go off and do a typing test, and people seem to like punishment. I've done those punishment programming sessions a couple times, and those tend to get me the most followers. But yeah, this is the first time I've been rated, and what I'm learning is that is the easy way to get followers. Goddamn. So yeah, takes a while to ramp up. Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, I think for me the hardest part is keeping consistent with it. Like even when it does start working, and I have like a really great stream, it's almost for me like it's kind of like going to the gym, where I might have a great time. I might tell myself, yeah, that went so well, I should do that every day. Then the very next day, I don't know, I might just work in silence, might not do any of that. And then like a week or 2 will go by and I haven't streamed once. So yeah, I'm hoping to be better this time around. This is my second time streaming this week. The goal that I've been setting myself is 3 times a week. I think I met that in January when I like very first started. And yeah, time is running out on my bank account, so this is where I'm like really trying to make it work. Yeah, we'll get to affiliate eventually, maybe by the time I need to get a real job again. Yeah, that seems important. Being consistent. It is important, and it's the hardest. Also, just not knowing like what time of the day suits, because like I think being a procrastinator makes me easily fall into the habit of like start working at like 9 or 10, but then don't even start streaming until 1 or 2 p.m. At which point I hit into a weird bubble where like I need to start taking the dog out, and it becomes really hard to get consistent time to do like a 4-hour stream or whatever. So yeah, I'm trying to get into the habit of streaming like 10 a.m. and then I have a run of like 4 hours before I even need to go off and be a human. We're only an hour and a half in and gotten 3 new followers. This is a good day. I'm having a good day. Thanks everyone for joining me here. Take stream with when you walk the dog. Happy. What? As in like, yeah, go continue the stream when I'm out there. Could do. But then, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm interesting enough to merit half an hour of just walking and talking about nothing. I need the visuals to back myself up. And the music in the background. It's subtle, but without the music, I'm nothing. Okay, so back into it. So just gonna throw in something for this panel. Actually, I'll do what I was doing before. I'll fork, or like go screenshot this, just so that I can pretend that this is an actual asset. Everyone loves dogs. It's true. Well, my dog is, regular viewers of the channel like her, but they don't understand how difficult she makes streaming, because she doesn't like ask for stuff. You know, if she wants to go out, she doesn't like knock at the door. If she wants to play, she doesn't just bring a toy over. She'll just like stand next to you and just cry. She'll just stand next to you and like whine. And it might sound like, oh, we neglect her, we should be more aware of her. We'll like be like, give her so much attention, she'll finish eating her dinner and then walk up to you and whine. And it makes it really difficult to be like a streamer, because, you know, you just start into a stream and then she'll come up and whine. It's like, I just took you out, I just played with you. And so that's why, yeah, Rosie, my girlfriend, is in the other room, basically just keeping her away from the mic until like later on, no doubt she'll set her on me and we can all see the dog. We can all meet the dog, and then you'll hear her cry. What breed? She's a Staffordshire Terrier, which before we got her, I didn't even know that. I wouldn't have known what a Staffy was, but since getting her, like every single person we meet is like, that's my favorite kind of dog. Yeah, it's pretty adorable. So what do I call this? Signpost. Where am I saving this? Trying to find a good song. Accidentally played like 2 or 3 songs at the same time there. We had a lot of cats growing up, so I couldn't have a Staffy. Yeah. We actually have a Staffy and a cat. Thankfully, I think we got the cat as a kitten while the Staffy Luna was only like a year or 2 old. So they were able to sort of grow up together. But she's also just like a really gentle dog. Like, she doesn't know what aggression is. So she wouldn't think to cause too much trouble there. Sorry, navigating my file system. Not paying too much attention to what I'm doing. Encantress source components. What am I doing? Pages, there we go. And I think this is now the 3rd different naming scheme I've used for these files. So yeah, we've got one being with an underscore, one being with dashes, and one just has nothing. So what am I doing? Signpost image. I'll at least keep the naming consistent and have image in the name. Signpost image will come from signpost. Okay, so got to think about stacking here. So I had the leaves are the topmost piece because they'll overlap everything else. the arrows kind of fall into the distance. I guess it's unlikely that the arrows and the signpost will overlap, but if they do, what would make sense? I guess the signpost should be in front of the arrows. So yeah, let's go with that. So what am I doing? I'll just fork this guy. So the person who rated me there, what was his name? What kind of streamer is he? He rated from React, but I'm assuming he's a React streamer. What was he up to? He's learning React. Cool. If he had 23 active viewers, he must be doing all right. What's his normal stuff? He's done a bit of a bunch of stuff. Cool. You'll have to check him out because I have not like watched any coding streamers other than Dog, who like would not even call himself a coding streamer. See, for those who don't know, Dog is a YouTuber who makes like challenge videos, challenge gaming things, and does a lot of stuff with like competing against AI and getting AI to write stuff. But in the background, a lot of it involves a lot of custom code that he's written. So every now and then, like once every 20-30 streams, he'll open a code editor and like be live coding. And because of that, he won an award for best coding streamer or something. Or maybe he didn't win it. Maybe he was just nominated, but yeah. So he's like the only person that I've ever seen code live on stream. So I should probably check out some other people who do it consistently. Yeah, he's I don't know if I'd say inspiration, but he's like, yeah, end goal maybe him before he got too big, because he's probably a bit too big now. Yeah, he's the one that made this seem kind of doable. Okay, keep getting distracted. What am I doing? Signpost image. So how are we going to position this guy? Down here, signpost image. So he'll be absolutely positioned, and I think he should just be completely centered on the screen. Where's the wireframe? Here. Yep. Look, he can just be fully centered. I mostly hang out in C++ game streamers channels, I guess. Nice. Yeah, I'm not doing anything wrong, because it's the way Twitch have set it up that if you are doing any sort of programming, you're in the game development and programming category or something. So it almost feels like I should be doing something more interesting, like building games. There's a nice community. Nice. Yeah, I've never gotten too involved in coding communities. I'm in like subreddits for JavaScript and React, and I guess it's Reddit in general, but those in particular are like kind of toxic. Of just like someone posts something and it's just thing after thing of like, you've done this wrong. This should be optimized. Oh, why are you doing it this way? Like this, I can't say I've seen too much like positivity or lovely community going on there. Yeah, it can be a bit toxic here too.
New follower, Morvik.
Oh, thank you very much, Morvik. So I don't know if there a bunch of people were just like AFK, but I'm shocked this many people are sticking around from the raid. Happy to have any of you if you're still actively here, especially you, Morvik. You are my current favorite. Right, so what was I doing here? So if I say left 50%, right 50%, I feel like this is not really going to work because that'll give it width 0. I'm just going to see how this looks. I have the wrong tab open. Okay. Right, so I need to restrict the size of it. What would be a sensible size to put on this? Because I need to think about the responsiveness of it. If I just learn by failing. So if I say width 50%, What does that do? Right, that makes sense. Oh shit, yeah. I thought that having the left 50%, right 50% would make it width 0, but it seems to have just overwritten the left 50% bit. You're cooking lunch at the minute. Damn, okay. And you're not even taking a break from coding streams. Yeah, that's I'm always kind of wondering who is watching, because a bunch of people seem to be watching at like their day jobs, or like when there's like, I think I get a lot of students asking questions about like learning React, and I don't know, it's kind of a problem in that I'm not my own target market, in that I've never really had the desire to watch coding streams. I don't know when you would want to escape coding and watch coding, or like, you know, I don't know. You'd have to like really love it, or I guess just love hearing people talk about something somewhat relevant to you. Because like back when I had a day job, I would just be like watching Netflix at work. I would like maybe I like opposites. You know, so if I'm working on programming, I want to just have some like gaming long form essay going. Yeah, you can't always watch programming. Yeah, it's fair. I'd say you like, I get burnt out from, you know, programming for a few hours. So I got to imagine listening to someone programming and also doing it yourself probably like burns the candle at both ends a bit. You probably get burnt out pretty quickly. Right. Okay. So what would be a good way to position this in the middle? So if I make it display flex and then margin auto, will that get me there? No. Does the parent have to be flex? I'm going to get out of this UI because this is annoying. Oh god, this guy's completely breaking me. And where is all the good music? I'm just like shuffling my entire playlist, and I feel like it's just the most boring songs going. Yeah, most of my songs are from Metal Gear Solid 2 playlist, or soundtrack, but I especially chose the ones that are like the weirdest ones that you would not think were from Metal Gear Solid. So this is like an actual, you know, You've Been Spotted by Some Guards song, but a bunch of it is just like weird guitar anthems that are just like, I guess, only played in the end credits. Right, so this is what I was doing. Gotta figure out how to get this guy to be the size I want. As soon as I skip one song, then I always end up skipping like 4 or 5 in a row. Yeah. Yeah, it's conflicting because my Stream Deck has a way of just like basically just one big shuffle button or all the individual songs. So then I'm tempted to go looking for the perfect song, but then I tend to just sit there in silence, not realizing that I'm not shuffling. So yeah, I try to be strict with myself to just like click one button and walk away from it. Right, so where are those styles that I've passed it? But not even, no, I haven't even said anything on the image. That is why it's not going right. So this one, I don't want it to scale. Like I don't want it to distort in the way that the arrows are. So I want this one to, I think anyway. I guess it's another case of like, I need to see it in action. Would it be nice if it stretches up or down? Because this logo image, this asset will be a separate asset itself, because we down the line we want it to like spin. You can see that in the spec, that it spins on hover or tap as like a 3D effect. Kind of silly, but it's Rosie's specification. So it doesn't matter if that gets distorted. So it might be better if this whole thing sort of stretches to fill the height. But for now, I'll just sort of treat it as though we want it to keep its dimensions. So how did I achieve that over here? So I set height and width. I'll just copy these settings over. Is that applying? No. Why are those settings not working at all? Oh shit, do I have the class name wrong? Signpost image. Aha. Okay, so none of my CSS was applying whatsoever. A lot of streamers do song requests via their bot. Yeah, that's true. I see, I'm not certain how that works because I think the way my music is queued up, it's all music that I've checked is okay to have on YouTube. So this is also streaming to YouTube and is going to stay up there as a VOD with the music going. And I imagine if I do song requests, it's probably, I don't know if there's a way to limit it to like songs that I have verified are okay to have on YouTube. We'll see. Cool, going to lunch back to work. Yeah, awesome. Thanks for joining the chat. Thanks for keeping the dialogue going. Have multiple channels. Yeah, I can do that, but it means that I'd have to like manually upload the VOD rather than just leave the live stream be intact. But yeah, so you don't record the music that isn't allowed. Yeah, it's something that I could look into, but I think it's easier to just stream with music that is allowed and just leave that up as the VOD. But either way, yeah, absolutely. Have a great lunch, and hopefully someone else in chat takes over as the vocal one. Thank you for joining. So how do I position this nicely? So margin auto was not working out. Also, yeah, the reason my scroll is fucked is like I've got one of those mice that doesn't have any like ratcheting to it, or like you can turn off the ratcheting, and I find it's a lot easier to work that way, but it does mean that like sometimes it'll just like scroll randomly because it's like a few atoms away from recognizing a scroll. What am I doing here? Okay. So the container is filling the page. So why does this guy need to be flex? I'm never certain of this like absolute basic stuff. What am I doing? Display flex. No, that doesn't fix it either. Yeah, so margin auto display flex, I would have thought would do the job of centering it, but maybe that doesn't work with absolutely positioned things. Maybe if I combine it with an inset of 0. I guess that doesn't work if you're specifying height and width. Yeah. So let's say if I inset 0, screw it. Okay, so left 50%. That gets me most of the way. Do I have to just like do a calculation, say like left 50% minus whatever we set the height as? Shit, screwed that up. Calc. 50% minus, and what am I saying the width is? I don't know, 10 VW. This feels like way too ad hoc. I don't like it, but that might be a consistent way of getting us there. No, it's not. Yeah, that's not scaling relatively at all. Okay. Proven the rule that even if you've been doing something for years and years and years, you still just need to Google like how to center absolutely positioned thing. So they're saying using, you go away. So they're talking about putting it at left 50% and then giving it a negative margin, which feels real shitty. I guess instead of having it be absolutely positioned, I could put it in a container that fills the page. Could I do that? Yeah, what if I, for this one, moved it down so that it's this guy fills the parent. Height 100%, width 100%, and then had flex and margin auto happening on the image. Have I broken everything? You can use left 50% and then translate minus 50%. Oh shit, is the translate relative to its own box? Translate X. I think there's SAS syntax as well. Yeah, it is. This is SAS. Yeah, I think that's a trick I saw before and completely forgot that was the case. So what was I doing here? Trying to go back to the point that I had this stuff working. Okay, yeah. So what was it? If left 50%, margin, sorry, translate, was it? Translate minus 50%? What was your message? Yeah, minus 50%, 0. Is that bad? Didn't like that. Oh, goddamn. Transform. Translate. Did that work? I don't think I've used that after Flexbox became available in major browsers. Yeah, when in doubt, just make everything flex is usually my solution, but and that might end up being what we do. I think it's the fact that I'm trying to have everything be like absolutely positioned to make it feel like a responsive web app. So like the way these are like pinned to the edges and overlapping everything else. That's why just by default I've been using like top left, bottom right positioning. So why is this happening? Transform, translate. So if it's not happening, it's all the way over there. Oh, it's because its width is way too big? Why is its width that size? I used to use stylus, if you know it. What is stylus? Is that like a thing similar to SAS? Yeah, I've never heard of that. So why is this guy going so wide? Oh, it's because I gave it left? No. What the heck? Sorry, I have no idea why it's going so wide. Is it because the image is deriving it? Or determining it? There's this one song from Arkham... Oh, what one is this? Arkham Knight. That I love the song, but it's like the rip I got of it is so quiet, so I have to always turn up the music whenever it comes on. Okay. I'm looking at this too much, and it's stopping making any sense to me. So this is what I had. What the hell is this visuals thing going on? What this... Oh, sorry. Girlfriend's coming in. Talk to me. I'll be back in 1 second. Oh my god.
Of you. I'm stuck in your head and I'm laughing. I fill you with dread and I can't stop laughing. Your parents are dead and I can't stop laughing.
Well, the promise has come true. The dog is in because she's been annoying my girlfriend too much. Luna, come here. Okay, she's having none of me. She doesn't even want to be here. She's just staring at me and she's going to start crying real soon. And if she comes near me, I'll let her be on camera and we can all enjoy her. Does this have margin? So what is this layout? No, it just fully thinks its width is that many pixels. Oh no, yeah, it is margin auto. Where have I set that? I just say margin 0. Okay. Yeah, see, that's the problem with that one song. I have to turn up the music and now everything else is way too loud. Have I set the margin to be bigger? Or do I just need to... Yeah. Okay. Margin 0. So now will it work? No, it's still going massive. What the hell? Why the hell? So the image is that big. I have no idea why this guy is going 1,000 pixels wide. Is it just because... So it's being sized based off of the max possible size that... Here's the dog. This is weird. Is this what's causing it to be weird? No. He's a victim. And just proof of concept, would this work? If I set the width to something reasonable, like 300 pixels. I'm not doing that permanently, I'm just checking. Okay, yeah, so in that case, the transform translate does center it nicely. Okay, that's good to know. So I just need to figure out why the hell the width is going so weird. Fit content. I feel like I always hope that fit content will solve problems for me, and it just doesn't. Object fit, will that do it? No, guess that only works on images. Yeah, this is, I don't understand why it would be doing that, because this doesn't know that this is an image. This is just a div that's just randomly being 1,000 pixels wide. I'm just going to make sure there isn't some weird caching going on. No. So I'm just going to stare at this for, like, I could stare at this for hours and get nowhere with it. I think I just need to rethink my scaling strategy entirely. If I set the height... No, if I derive it all by the width, how about that? If I say the width being 40%, that's too big, isn't it?
New
Ooh.
follower, Abatastics.
Thank you very much, Abatastics. It's probably Abe-tastics. I was just going along with what the TTS was saying. But, oh, I'm 26. When did that happen? And hi. Yeah, thank you. I'm not even sure when I got the follower goal, but I can hide that now. Thank you so much to everyone who's watching and is still watching. Can hide that follower goal. And now we get some more of our UI back. Yeah, I had no idea today would go like this. It's, yeah, the raid is continuing to pay dividends. So what is it? Abe-tastics. I'm picking on you. Were you part of the raid, or did you just find me randomly? How? I don't know. What are you into? What were you watching before this? Want to have some dialogue going. So max height 60%. Maybe this will be nicer if I start using max heights. What am I doing? Width. And I set this to max width. 40%. So now, if I just make the image start respecting the parent, it'll be nice. Or I might just need to abandon this and figure it out off stream, because at a certain point, it'll start being really boring. Me having no idea how to make the thing that I claim is my job work. Yeah. Bloody frustrating. So I'm setting max height to be 100%. This guy's also getting a max height of 80%. Screw it. Make it height 80%, width 40%. And it's still getting that weird sizing to be the full thing. I'm just going to do one quick test. Width 0, min width 40%. No, that didn't fix it. That's like a hack that gets me around sometimes, but rarely works. Found you randomly. I'm a React dev and looked for other React devs here, as rare as they are, at least on Twitch. Yeah, yeah, I could really do with more market research. I know when I was starting out doing this streaming, I think I looked at it, it's probably only like 9 a.m. UK time, so it wasn't like ideal streaming time to see how much competition there is. But I just went to the software and game development category, whatever, just to see how many people were streaming. And I think I've previously looked at like, oh, how many people are streaming Elden Ring or something, and it's, you know, hundreds, thousands at a time. And then so I went to see that, and it was like, oh, there's only like 10, 15 people in the entire world streaming software development right now. And I think Pirate Software was like, had all of the viewers. So I don't know, at like this time of day, I don't know how much competition there is, how much, how saturated the space is. But I'm also afraid of doing more market research. I kind of like to just get on with stuff and not dwell on the numbers. So, okay, so this little hacky attempt did not work. So if I get rid of this max thing and I allow the image to distort, maybe that'll help me out. Okay, so it's at least centering now. That might actually be perfect for me. And what settings were on the parent? Damn, I should have checked that before saving. Width, was it like 40%? Height, I think I had it as height 80%. I know I'm not showcasing the most like React development. It's basically like all CSS. I normally do funky actual like, React hooks and everything, but oh shit, I missed a bunch of chat. He's been around for a long time though. React wise, it's very poor. 90% is game dev. Web dev in general is poor on Twitch. I had an idea that I'd first develop a Twitch extension while streaming, and then with the help of viewers through the extension, develop a better AI for my bot. Goddamn. But it's just so much easier, you know, not to stream or do anything productive after work. Yeah, it's like I mentioned earlier, so like what I'm doing in theory with this channel is working on my own React library called LocalBoast. So here's like the code base for it, documentation that I built through Storybook and embedded on my website. So this is like the main thing that I work on. And I worked on this for like months during the time that I was supposedly a streamer, but I didn't stream like any of it because I kept telling myself it's too boring. Oh, this is like automatically generating documentation and doing customizing the layout of it. No, that's really boring. Nobody would want to watch it, and I wouldn't want to showcase it. So just so much of the stuff that I've actually done since I've like started trying to do this on stream, I haven't let myself do it on stream because I keep telling myself I'll just do it offline. It'll be easier. So that's something I need to try to get in the habit of, is like, no, if I'm working on something, I should be streaming it. But yeah, it's a hard hurdle to overcome. Which is why I was hoping that, yeah, working on these weird wireframes might just mix it up a bit. Keep it fresh, you know? Yeah, just do it. That's the thing, just do it. Like I equated it to going to the gym earlier, and it is a lot like that, where it's like, yeah, it's productive, I feel good after it, and for some reason, the very next day, my body will say, nah, probably just do something easier. Okay, so I am not upset about how this is laying out. So that positioning, centering thing worked nicely. So in terms of its horizontal position on the page, no matter the screen dimensions, it's staying where it should be. We want to move it down a bit so it's vertically centered. It's also scaling downwards for some reason, yeah. So I guess we'll do the same trick here. So translate minus 50%, stream everything. Yeah, someday I hope to get to that point where I'm willing to just be like, yeah, it's my full-time job. No matter what I'm working on, I'll stream it. I also tried like doing some just actual gaming, like at the end of a coding session, be like, okay, transitioning into playing some video games. And I think eventually I'd like to be at that point where like, yeah, most of my gaming I also do on stream, and almost all of the work I do on stream, because that way I have the most likelihood of actually building up the channel quickly, and also not feel bad about spending 10 hours a day playing Metal Gear Solid 5, which is what I've been doing. At this point, I just want to finish the game. Top 50%. But yeah, I don't quite feel... I don't have the comfort of streaming games yet, because the one time I tried it, I was like realizing that I was playing the game really badly while I was talking. Where like I feel like I'm as bad as I am at programming while I'm talking, I'm way worse at playing games while I'm talking. So maybe like a nice slower game. Like I think I played Elden Ring on stream, and that was a bad call because I'm not good enough at that game. But a nice slower game like Inscription or something might do. So the vertical positioning is working here. I just need to get it to start scaling up and down. And so I thought I put a scale factor on the container. Maybe the image isn't using that. It's hard to do gaming and coding from what I've seen. I guess you need to be okay with it being a bit worse at things on stream. Yeah. Yeah, I was real skeptical about doing gaming on this channel for ages because I thought like, oh, it hurts like reliability. If people are following for programming, they don't want to see me playing games the next day. And it was literally that guy, Pirate Software I mentioned. Like, despite me never like actually watching him, I guess I'm in the same space as him, so he gets pushed on my YouTube algorithm. So I keep seeing him on like shorts and stuff. And I realized, oh shit, he just plays video games on his channel all the time as well. So at that point I was like, oh, I can do that. I can just play games. But yeah, I don't know if that's where I'll eventually end up. So what is happening here? Is this actually scaling? I have not put a height constraint on this container, have I? No, I put it down here, but I guess I didn't actually persist it over here. Height 80%. Okay. Yeah, eventually. Absolutely. My girlfriend just walked in and got my attention and just waggled a pack of raw sausages and asked, do you want one? I mean, you may have seen some glee on my face while I nodded. So yeah. Okay, I think... I was going to say it ended up being simpler than I thought. Okay, it's not centering properly there. I was going to say this ended up being simpler than I thought, but it actually ended up being a bit... It took me ages to get it centering, so what am I talking about? I don't know why it's sticking to the bottom like that, though. Just got to fix that. Okay. That's why, because I've got it set to have the object position be bottom. So I can just get rid of that attribute. Cool. So this is our very responsive UI. My girlfriend will cook lunch for herself, but I'm in a meeting and not offer me anything at all. That is rough. Oh shit, it's not capping the height. Do you work from home then, I guess? I know this is like a very one-to-one chat. And oh, there's someone else. One thing I'd like to try is do some infosec stuff on stream, like solving hack the box puzzles or something. I don't even know. What is hack the box? I was also going to say, what is infosec? Okay, yeah, is what I thought. Like I have a lot of experience in my like narrow little bubble of programming, doing like React web development. I've worked at big companies, but then I hear a term like infosec and I instantly feel like I know nothing about programming. What is Hack the Box? Just hacking training. Cool. Training for ethical hacking candidates. That's cool. I think we did like some really basic versions of this in my college. Hey, finished with your library already? What do you mean have I finished with it? It never finishes. That's the beauty of a React library. It's like an ever-growing thing. LocalBoast.com/docs. Yeah, when I tell people I'm a software engineer, then they're like, have you hacked anything? I'm like, no. Yeah, I build stuff to get hacked into. Yeah, in my case, I build stuff and don't question whether or not it can be hacked. I add some tab navigation and tell myself it's accessible, and then hope that there's nothing sensitive that I want to avoid hacking. Sorry. Encouraging my dog to get up on the bed because she was just standing by the edge of the bed crying. Yeah. This is pretty cool though. I might try Hack the Box. Is it something that you can like do for free? Join for free. Sweet. Yeah, I just remember our like ethical hacking lecturer in university gave us some like basic stuff to do, like really, really simple stuff. Like here's a text box that communicates with an SQL server. Write an injection to dump the database, like really intro to SQL injections kind of stuff. But I just remember he was like really not quite offensive, but like I don't know, like he would ask like, oh, how many of you have like really strong passwords, like over 10 characters? And anyone who put their hands up, he'd give out to them for giving any info on how strong their passwords are. It was like, you are not a nice person to talk to. Oh, damn. Well, my wife made me French toast the other day for our little one and didn't bring me some. After I told her, next time I will also forget about you when buying donuts. That is ruthless. Okay, so I'm gonna consider this guy done when I have it scaling on the height. Did I just like completely forget to add any height scaling in? Or did I add something in and it's not working? So I have him being 100% of the height, and I feel like I've added height and width to this thing so many times. Am I just not persisting it in the CSS at all? Height 80%. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I just keep forgetting to add that to the CSS. 80%. Did you see million.js lint and maybe even tried it in one of your projects? No, I've never heard of that. What is it? Million.js lint. Million lint. What is it? Going on a little detour. Hope people don't mind. I'm learning. This is probably something I should start doing on stream more, is being willing to go down tangents of learning, educating myself and others. What is million lint? Keeps your React website fast, it identifies slow code and provide extensions to fix it. That sounds pretty cool. I've never been good at doing profiling. I've like used the React profiler in like Chrome a few times, and like I've never even looked at like how to use it. I've just clicked around, generated this kind of flame graph, and had no idea what it means. It's like linter but for performance. It shows performance holes in your code in your IDE. That's cool. Yeah, I probably should look at this kind of thing where like when building a website, I am willing to have performance issues, because like if it runs okay, I know the scope that this website is being used. But in building a library, I should probably be pretty careful that it performs well, because there's some stuff in the library that I know is not very performant and I need to make it better. So like I don't think it's documented anywhere here, but there's a hook I have called use wipe that is toggled by this button up here. So I'll go, this dark mode toggle, see that? When I click it, it like actually transitions between the states. And the way it does that is real stupid. It duplicates the entire HTML stack wipes any classes off it so that it doesn't respond to the changes, and like persists the styles in line, and then it masks it with an SVG that transitions over the top. But it's just like, it's really inefficient because it also like doesn't scale well at all, because if you've got like a massive website with like really deep nesting of attributes, it doesn't currently do any like cutting off, you know, only go a certain amount deep into it. It just like duplicates the entire goddamn thing and scans through the entire HTML. And it's like, you can in theory click it a bunch of times, and this is a real great way to fry a CPU. It's like, now my website is stopping behaving correctly. Seems overcomplicated. Yeah, a bit. I couldn't find any other way to make it work nicely, because like you can just have like it fade between one and the other. But my whole library, the point of it is to do pointless shit that looks cool and does it in an interesting way. So yeah, there's definitely optimizations that can be done of like, oh shit, I don't need to be duplicating the entire body element. I could just do some stuff to it. But I don't know, it works pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff where it's like, okay, that's a very opinionated, poorly performing thing that's in my library that I need to think more about. But yeah, I'll try to remember this million.dev. Look into that. Cheers for the recommendation. How else would you do it, I wonder? Boy, that's really bad for big pages, as you duplicate the whole DOM in the client. Yeah, it's like, there's a reason my library is still in like version 0, is it's right now, it's like some dumb proof of concepts that I've thrown out there. Some of them have been refined nicely, but a lot of it is just like, I'm using it on my website for a purpose. You can use it, but it might not perform well at all. One way that I was gonna do it at first, it's something that I've done before on like a project I worked on years back. I used to dabble with like game development, just like little side projects. And one thing that I did was this idea of like a paper plane game. So it was like you were a paper plane flying through the world. And what I did was, when you crashed, I screenshotted the game screen, and then I applied that texture to a 3D model of a folded up piece of paper. And so like I had it be able to take a screenshot, apply that screenshot to a flat texture that was the screen. And so basically I made it so that the screen could appear to like fold up into a piece of paper. So I had it like that, a way to transition between different, you know, between the game instances. And so I was considering doing something like that, where you render the screen to an image and then like apply that image to, create a new image tag that overlays the website and then mask that out. And that would be a lot simpler. But my understanding is that rendering HTML to an image can only kind of be done. There's like, you may be able to use a canvas for it. Yeah, I think that might be kind of what I'm talking about here. There are libraries that exist for turning HTML into an image, because where like it writes it all to a canvas and then renders the canvas to a PNG, that kind of stuff. But that would both mean either stealing their code, writing my own version of it, or like having them as a dependency, which I've been trying to avoid. But I think even then it wouldn't work fully, because there's like cores issues or something where like images don't write to canvas, or like a lot of images don't anyway, and like it wouldn't have all worked very nicely. So yeah, that's why I went down this route of like, if there's something on your page, my strategy is just to duplicate the page. And it's not as bad performance as you would think, at least from how I've tested it so far. But like I say, it's definitely in need of some performance improvement. Sounds like something interesting to do a prototype for. Yeah. Yeah, it might be something that I might try the other approach someday. Yeah. So, let's see. I haven't really stress tested this guy. Is this centered on the page nicely? Basically, for those wondering, I'm trying to replicate this image and have this be responsive. So I think, yeah, he's always going to be centered. He's always going to be, no matter how wide the screen is, he's not going too big. Cool. So he's like at the the junction of the crossroads. And if it's nice and wide, he'll go really small, but I think that's fine. Is that probably too narrow, right? I could probably do with making this wider. Wait, have I not actually set a width on it? Width 50%? I make him 80% as well. Yeah, that's probably pretty good. It's a bit big because we need the crossroads to meet like around here. So I'll scale it back just a little bit. Width 70%. If it's something you want people to use, you could just add some info into the docs, I guess, saying that this looks cool but might not be performant on your site. Yeah, definitely. So what is it? Use image HTML to image. It's open source, so you could steal the code. Yeah, that is something I could do. I want to stop doing that though. Basically, I haven't talked about this. It's not like it's a secret. I just haven't really mentioned it anywhere. So in my library, I've got a code component that I mentioned earlier. It's like a code tag that has automatic syntax highlighting, and that's using, what is it? What is it? I don't have it documented here. So it's using a hook called use syntax highlighting. Now that uses highlight.js under the hood. And like I do say that in the docs, it uses a copy of highlight.js. But the way that I've achieved that, because I want my library not to have dependencies, which is like a dumb arbitrary I put on myself, is that the library currently has 0 dependencies. I want it to stay that way, mainly because this library is partly like personal portfolio. So like if I need something, I try to build it. But for the sake of having highlight.js there, the way that I've achieved it is just by having a minified version of their code in my code base. But they do have a license that says you can do that as long as you credit them. And so my code does credit them. But it makes my code base way bigger. Like most of the bundle size of LocalBoast is highlight.js. So I need to rethink that. And so I'm also determined not to just add another entire code base into mine. But yeah, so like this kind of thing, I think, yeah, when I do come to document the use wipe hook, I think I probably will just stick in a caveat that use to your own caution. What phrase am I looking for? But yeah, it also isn't guaranteed to work on every website. So it really struggles with iframes. This code base that I've got running here is a storybook build. And the way Storybook works is it's all like iframes. So it, like when you run Storybook, it has its own website, and then it has your code base running in like an iframe window. And then when you statically build Storybook, it also creates like an iframe that I've loaded into my website. So there's an iframe within an iframe on my website here. And I just had a real hard time. Why is that just completely broken? What the fuck? Yeah, there it is. I just had a real hard time getting the iframe to copy over because it seems iframes are difficult where there's like a whole... I just went down a rabbit hole of seeing like how the hell can you just duplicate an iframe without it forcing the page to reload? And it seems like you can't. Even if you just like move where it is in the DOM, it'll just completely reload the entire thing. Because I wanted to just do what I was doing with all the other stuff where when you click the page, it just takes the iframe and just has it on the page somewhere else. But can't do that because it forces the entire thing to reload, which is why it goes white there. So there's definitely a bunch of ways that the use wipe hook would not work for other people's websites. So it's kind of, yeah, use at your own caution, which is a phrase that I made up a few moments ago and I'll stick with. Right, so back to actually doing this wireframe thingy. Okay, so I do need to make all these like buttons, make them interactable. Maybe I'll play around with that now. Or actually what might be fun is playing with this logo thing up here. I guess iframes should be rare. Yeah, hopefully. I think what I'm doing with my website is real weird, where like I couldn't I couldn't even find any mention of anyone else doing this. That like with Storybook, they like mention how you can build it statically and host the iframe somewhere as an external website, but I couldn't find any mention of someone embedding a Storybook static build into a website the way that I'm doing here. And like I'm acting as if it's just part of my website when it's like a separate build embedded within the website. So it's a funky use case that hopefully no one else will have. Maybe some old school micro front-end solutions. Not even sure what that means. Yeah, I've not heard of that. Yeah. Hopefully there's not like a valid reason not to do it other than it just causing some issues with compatibility. But yeah, that's my cross to bear. So what I might do now is play with having this logo be interactive. So yeah, you can see in the spec here, she wanted it that on hover, it sort of spins. I'm not sure of the actual interaction there. Like probably don't want it to, well, I guess it could do a full 360 when it spins, when you hover. Or it could just sort of like totter as though it's like able to spin. It's terrible, best not to know. Yeah. It's the same way with like the market research and stuff. I don't like looking into stuff if the goal of looking into it is to tell myself that I'm doing something wrong. So it's better just to tell myself that I'm doing it right and walk away. Is that documented? I can see myself debugging why it isn't working when I have CSP rule denying iframes on the page. Is what documented? Just having it embedded on a website? So they have mentions of like Storybook, what is it? Storybook, static, publish Storybook. So what is it? Build Storybook as a static web application. So there's, I'm not sure exactly how it's set up, but there's, yeah, when you install Storybook, you should just be able to do like build Storybook. I think that's what it is. Or maybe there's like a static command. But somewhere you can just make it, instead of it being a usable server that you can open up locally, it actually just creates it as like a fully bundled package. And then that, in theory, it's supposed to be hosted. Yeah, see, they constantly talk about like having it on Chromatic or have it hosted on some other system. But I don't think there's any mention of it being included directly embedded on a separate website. And in terms of like CSP stuff, I think I've just set it to be that whatever it is that like allows same origin. And because it's not like a remote URL. So like when I do docs, what it's actually loading is, I think it's like assets/storybook static. Yeah, so this is the actual iframe. So it is hosted at the same origin at localboast.com. So it's able to treat the iframe as having the same origin as the website. So there isn't CORS issues. Whereas I think most of the time when you're embedding an iframe, it is an external URL. Yeah. Right. So yeah, what would be a good way to go about separating this out? I guess I'll just, like, this is a real shitty way of doing it. I'm waiting for Rosie to like send me actual assets, but I'll just right. Let's create that as a separate asset. Beautiful. Delete it from this one. Overwrite the existing one. So it's a bit shitty to have like empty pixels in the image. I should probably just crop it and then like pad the thing in CSS. I guess I'll do that. I don't know Krita well enough to know the best way to do that though. So what if I crop to selection? Is that a thing? Player image trim to selection. Oh damn, I selected too much. Yeah, I'm too cheap to pay for an Adobe license or anything, so I'm using just free software for this. There we go. Trim to selection. Sweet. So save as, signpost. And then I'll save this beauty out. Logo sign. And it's weird, with every single one of these, I just choose a different naming scheme, whether it's underscore, dash, or none of the above. Couldn't tell you why. Okay, so that should be there now. What did I call it? Sign, logo, sign? Yeah. I usually use GIMP, which is a lot worse, I think. Yeah, a few times in my life I've been like, I'll stop using a cracked version of Adobe and I'll go and use GIMP, and it's just not good. I don't know. Like Krita has some nuances, some like weird behavior, weird bugs. Sometimes it crashes, but for the most part, at least it feels like a professional piece of software. I haven't used GIMP in a few years, but I feel like it's probably not much better than last time I used it. So logo sign image. So signpost, I'll stick the logo sign image in the same container. This one really shouldn't be presentation. This is an actual thing to interact with. Logo sign image. So we're just gonna have to figure out the positioning of these things. So here. Great inconsistent consistency. I only need to use GIMP 2 or 3 times a year. Yeah. Yeah, like if that's all you're doing, if it's like the equivalent of like MS Paint or something, where it's like you have a document that you need to crop or something where you need to remove the background in a single instance and you don't care how long it takes you. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, the person I feel bad for is my girlfriend Rosie, who is a graphic designer and illustrator who spent years with like a college Adobe license where it was really cheap, and then she had a job where work was paying for her Adobe license, and so she got really good at using Adobe, and now she's also unemployed and not paying Adobe, and so she's using the free stuff, and just like a lot of the skills aren't transferable, or just like everything is harder than it should be with the free stuff. Right. Okay, so this image tag is actually hitting both of these. So I'll put specific classes on for these individual ones. Probably good to learn though. Yeah, definitely. Especially since some of the software appears to be just like almost becoming the like recommendation, not quite like the industry standard, but the video editor we've been using, DaVinci Resolve, which we hadn't heard of before we started Googling this, or before we started Googling like free software. We've just heard more and more like YouTubers talking about how it's like as good as Premiere Pro. Some of them prefer it to Premiere Pro. It's probably copium. They're probably lying to themselves, but it is still really good. So like having that kind of skill, yeah, these up and coming softwares is definitely good. Sign, logo sign. I mean, there are other ways, right? Not wanting to suggest has anything to you. Yeah, there are other ways of getting Adobe products. I haven't done it in years. Like, what's the statute of limitations on piracy? I've heard on forums that back in the day, you were able to just download like a specific file that like you pasted into your installation directory and it made it no longer a free trial. and then like every time Adobe released a new version, you'd need to just get a new version of that file. But last I heard on the random forums that I don't even read, I don't think it is that simple, probably because everything's wrapped up in like the cloud, whatever it's called, Creative Cloud, and like that is like the DRM. So I don't know if there's easy ways to circumvent that anymore. But, yeah, we're for the time being, we're good with the free shit. So what am I doing? Signs, main post. Not gonna think too much about my naming schemes here. Down here. So the main post, I need to pad this at the top because I just cropped a bunch of its height. The padding is weird because its size isn't going to be fixed, so I'm not sure what padding to apply. I run Linux, so I'm all for the free shit. Yeah, I haven't properly used Linux since I was like 15, and I accidentally bricked my Windows installation, and the only solution at the time, because I don't think you could get free Windows back then, so the only solution for me was to run Linux. And yeah, I am technically programming through Linux now because I'm using Windows, but I'm running WSL, so this is technically a Linux instance, but that's like the closest thing I come to it, as well as having a Steam Deck. So I do use Steam OS, which is Linux, but same, easy. Yeah, Windows becomes more Linux every day. I can't believe how bad Windows development is without Linux. Where like I used a Mac OS for programming for, I don't know, the last like 6 years, because I had a personal MacBook to do game development and iOS development, so like it needed to be a Mac. And then I got jobs where they provided me a MacBook, and I realized, okay, everyone seems to be using Macs for web development, especially anyway. I'm not sure why. So then when I left my job, no longer had a MacBook, I thought, okay, I'll get a nice Windows laptop. I want to see what that's like. And just Windows, it's just real bad. Like the Windows terminal is the worst program ever, just compared to like iTerm that you can get on Mac. Just the mere fact that, so if to create a new pane, I have to remember Alt-Shift+, and now that I've created a separate pane, I can't resize these. To split this again, I need to remember Alt-Shift-, can't resize these. I think there is like a keyboard command to make this bigger, but it's awful, and there's like no extensibility. And the only way to make the terminal look nicer at all with the nice colors and all this stuff that I found was to use OMI-ZSH, which required running the Linux instance. And it's, yeah, God. It's Unix under the hood. Oh, macOS is great. What do you mean? Is it macOS is great? What do you mean? Is that in relation to me or someone else? I loved using macOS. That might be a been to someone else. I loved macOS for development anyway. It made everything simple. But yeah, I moved from Windows for dev only, use it for gaming nowadays. Yeah, I think I would have happily continued using the Macs for, like, if I had like a work that was giving me a MacBook. It makes everything a lot more streamlined if everyone is on the exact same hardware. So like that's my experience with big companies, is they'll basically just give like all the web team the exact same laptop basically. And then one time we tried to hire, we were going to hire someone who was way more familiar with Windows, and we were like, we're not even sure if our app runs on Windows. You know, it's like a lot more easy just to have the entire team using the same thing. But for my sake, because I was using my own money to buy a laptop, I went for the framework laptop and went Windows with it. So yeah, might go back to Mac someday, but we'll see. I've completely forgotten what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, I'm sizing these things. I'd be okay with using Mac if I had an Intel CPU. How's the framework? I really like it. You can feel that it's like proof of concept, or like it's kind of buggy, where like I only know about it because of Linus Tech Tips talking about it, because he is an investor, so he's done a load of coverage of it. And he himself has said that like their company, they won't give all their employees frameworks because there's this horrible battery drain issue, and so they're not reliable. And so it's like almost like a Steam Deck in that it's like it's amazing that this exists, but you know it's a sort of a rough experience in certain ways. It's also like hardware isn't the best, where the trackpad has like this horrible crunch to it, and my power key. I wonder will I be able to show that? So there's my laptop and my power key. You can see it's like, I don't know if you can see it. It's like loose. It's like flapped up, just because I think some glue broke. Oh, now I've broken everything now. Yeah, so it's not the best made thing, but the beauty is that if that does become a real problem, I can just buy a replacement part for like £20, whatever. I can just buy one online. It'll be sent to me in a few days, and I just rip the top off. Oh my god. Yeah, I broke everything by trying to show my camera there. Yeah, so there's a nice sense of security with it, where even if some parts of it are failing, you can just swap it out, because that's the whole point of Framework. And the idea that, oh, when the new generation of Intel comes out, or it doesn't even have to be Intel, screw it, if I want to switch to AMD in the new generation, I can just buy that replacement piece and just have a brand new, amazingly performing laptop. So yeah, I'm fully stand by the Framework decision. Yeah, I like that conceptually. Yeah, in practice, it's served me well. I haven't had to buy a replacement piece for it, but the mere fact that when I bought the laptop, I was able to buy it without RAM and without storage. So it ended up being pretty affordable, because I already had storage from an older laptop that I was able to use, that like SSD, and the RAM I was able to just buy a kit on Amazon and stick that in, and now the laptop has like 32 gigs of RAM, because that was really affordable at the time. So I'm not beholden to whatever just RAM came soldered into the laptop when I bought it. Never heard of that. Sounds really interesting. Yeah, yeah, Framework is just a really cool brand from what I've experienced. And it's the kind of thing where like it's their USP, but they might also, they like claim that they hope the industry starts going that way and that other brands do it as well, because of like the environmental side of it, of not having to just throw out a laptop every few years when it becomes redundant. But yeah, they seem to be doing well. People seem to like them. I hope with this right to repair, yeah, it's definitely good for the right to repair stuff. Yeah, with old tech. Before getting this, my main personal laptop was a MacBook that I bought like nearly 10 years ago at this point, and like I tried to upgrade it. I tried to like put a different SSD in. I put like a nice skin on top, so that like a D-brand skin, so I'd really love the thing. But no matter how much love I tried to give it, it was still a really old, slow CPU with very little RAM, and it's all soldered in, so there's no way of upgrading it at all. So it's just really sad that like I tried to use it for as long as I could, but it just was unusable at a certain point because they designed it that way. But that's enough of a tangent. It's enough of a right to repair tangent. We're trying to make some images appear on a screen. Right, so main post. What I was struggling with is I don't know how to pad this in a consistent way with it being resizable. But I guess, oh shit, so the images aren't absolutely positioned. So they can just be positioned relative to each other. Yeah, and this is flex. So I'll just make this flex direction column. And now, so these images should hopefully stack. And I don't even need to pad that. How does this look? Where are we? Oh. I used to love my MacBook Air, the old model, but it got like that too. So I have a different type of dev. Yeah, it's sad when the laptop has to just be put out to pasture because it's old and unusable. I replaced this icon. Why is it still like that? Is that a caching issue, I wonder? Signpost. Yeah, I might just restart this to hopefully clear the cache. On my laptop, the browser is the heaviest software I need to run. And I don't do front end at the minute, so I don't really need much performance. Yeah, the browser is also the main use of my laptop, being the front end dev. Yeah, if I were to open Task Manager, let's see. Hopefully there's nothing confidential here. Yeah, Firefox, having Firefox with 20 tabs and Chrome with 19 tabs. What am I doing? It's using quite a lot. But like I said, I stuck 32 gigs of RAM in this laptop, which was definitely overkill at the time, but it just means that I don't have to worry about how many fucking Chrome tabs I have open. Cool. Okay, so that was a caching issue and that's cleared. So the problem I'm encountering is that they are being given equal sizing. So what'll I do? If I make it, instead of display flex, if I make it a grid, there's definitely other ways of doing this, but this is the way that I know. Grid template rows. And so if I do it like 1F4, 4F4, that looks pretty good. Because I'm optimizing for people who have much older machines. That's what I tell myself. Yeah, like it's a good practice. I think it's what a lot more like game devs and stuff needs to do. And also I was thinking about that the other day with there's like a Linus Tech Tips video recently where they were talking about like a display that film editors and like colorists use to like grade films, and that it's nowhere near how things actually look on a human TV, and how films and TV shows really need to be calibrated for actual like home TVs, because so many things you watch nowadays are just like pure black when it's night, or at least on our TV it is anyway. So yeah, more people should do what you're doing, just work off pieces of crap, and the end product will be streamlined for those people. Am I not able to grab this from the top? That's really annoying. So I can only grab it at the bottom. Okay. So this sizing seems about right. Yeah, stick with that for now. So what I want to play around with is how it looks to rotate this in 3D. Oh, its size is massive. That could be a problem. It's going like full width. So I might just put like a wrapper around that, so that the image itself doesn't have to be that size. That might break everything, but we'll see. Class name. When in doubt, put a wrapper class on. Logo, sign, wrapper. I'm actually learning game dev at the minute, just for hobby reasons. Lots of fun. Yeah, I used to do that loads. Just, there's no joy like opening a Unity instance, dragging a ball onto the screen, attaching rigid body to the ball and saying like use physics, and then clicking play, and all of a sudden the ball falls. It's like, holy shit, I just made a game. It is nuts how like you can go from like 0 to something so quickly. So yeah, I used to do a lot of just pure proof of concept. Oh, I want to make a game that uses like plays with light. Oh, how do I do that? Oh, so I like did a thing where there was like a torch hanging from the top of the screen and like swung left to right. And I think I tried to have it be that like when you rotated a phone, the like light would follow the physics or something, and like emit a beam of light. That was just like that kind of dumb thing where it's like, that's not anything that I would ever publish or like show to anyone. It's just, I just wanted to play with that to see how that would work. So yeah, game development's so fun. Have you checked out 3JS? I have never really looked into it. I know we used that at a company I used to work for. That's like for like rendering graphs and like 3D stuff. I think we used it for graphs, basically, for like complex data modeling. 3JS. JavaScript 3D library. Yeah, this is something that like once I get bored of what I'm working on now, Like if I run out of steam working on the LocalBoast library of just like adding dumb hooks and stuff, I could see myself really dabbling with 3JS, this kind of stuff, WebGL stuff. Yeah, I tried to learn like just on a whim. I one day tried to learn like actual WebGL like processor language. Try to really understand, you know, the deep down of like how things get rendered on a screen when lines of code execute, because that's the kind of stuff that we were taught in like university, is like assembly code and stuff. But I tried to kind of learn about WebGL. I didn't get far with it because, as you'd imagine, as the whole point of it is, like the whole point of having a game engine is to mean that you don't have to dabble with things like WebGL, because it's slow and hard. But yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah, definitely see myself going back to that, or playing around with 3JS anyway. Okay, so having this wrapper div breaks everything. Kind of expected that. Height 100%, width 100%. Will that fix it? 100%. Nope. Display flex. Will that fix it? What attributes can I stick on this to fix everything? Wait, what? Oh, here it is. I don't know, maybe having a wrapper div just won't work. Or like, I assume it would work, but maybe it's gonna complicate things when this is already such a tinderbox of stability. It's going slow, but something to do. And I'm also dummy. Yeah, like, the way I found with that is it's best to just like have like a little target, a little proof of concept, or some dumb thing you want to prove to yourself that you know how to do, or not know how to do, but can learn to do. So there was one, oh yeah, I forgot about this. There was one game that me and my girlfriend were working on before that we were eventually hoping to release, and I just spent so long as like on like a proof of concept of one little part of it. And so the whole idea of it was that it's a thing I've seen in some other games, but the idea of being able to like open a rift between worlds. So like you see the game world and there's models to interact with and everything, and then you can like open, the way we had it was like you set like a point in space and open a radius around it. So basically like create a ball where through that ball you see a different world. So there's like an entirely separate game world rendering there. And through that I learned all about like shading languages, like what is it, HLSL, high level shader language, I think. Because through that it's like, you know, when you just start using Unity and you learn about shaders and you're just like, okay, cool, I can make it a solid color, or I can make it like a matte color. But there's all sorts of weird stuff you can do with shaders, of like having conditional like actual logic in there to be like, if the point is at a certain point in space, do render or don't render, or have some sort of cutout. And so we were able to have this whole idea of like literally cut a hole in the game world using this shader and render a separate game world behind it. And that was purely just off of like that'd be an interesting thing to work on. I have no idea how that works, and just go down a rabbit hole. So like I made no progress with the game, but I got that proof of concept actually working. Yeah. Okay, so before I mess around too much, I should probably just check how this actually looks with the rotation, because I was worrying too much about it being wide, but that probably won't actually affect the rotation, because that's how rotations work. Like it doesn't matter how wide it is. A transition, what am I doing? 3D rotation CSS. I was looking at this earlier. Rotate 3D. Okay. So yeah, if I have like the thing rotate with this, and then have a transition on the rotation, this should look real nice. That's not, those aren't the attributes I want to keep, but let's run with this for now. Transition, transform, ease 0.3 seconds. Let's try that. Okay, cool. So we can get some actual nice rotations going. Okay, now I'm actually going to try and do some work. Yeah, no worries. If you need to sign off, it was a pleasure having you. But if you want to keep me on in the background, that's allowed as well. Either way, thank you for joining. Right. So this 45 degree. Yeah, I'll keep you up. Awesome. Appreciate it. So I should probably learn what this API even is. What are these attributes I'm changing? So we're talking about coordinates. So I guess we're saying at what point, like what's the center? What's the rotation origin? That's pretty cool. So we can have it. Wonder, could I have it so that the rotation origin is like the very point at which it meets the post? So I have no idea how that works. I have no idea what this value even is either. X coordinate, but what is the coordinate relative to? Is it pixels? Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, let's just play around with it, I guess. So there was a way to specify in it, I think, turns. Oh, so you can do like % of a turn. That's pretty cool. And if I set it to 360, it does actually spin. I was worried it would just cap. Why have I not seen 3D rotations in a website? This is awesome. So what is this value even doing? And why is it spinning while I change this? That's weird. Right, so what happens if this is 0? I don't know. Oh. Well, we're all figuring something out now, aren't we? We're all learning. Describing the Y coordinate. So when it talks about Y coordinate, I assume it's using top down, because different platforms seem to use like different meanings. So I know like Blender and Unity have different understandings of like which is the up vector. Right, okay, so I've got it offset. I shouldn't even have these ones. I think I just grabbed the wrong example. So, aha, this is the vector through which it rotates. Now it makes sense. It's not a point, it's the vector. So I'm describing the vertical vector. Nice. And now if I add some depth to it, that should be describing like projecting outwards. So we should see sort of a perspective shift, I think. Oh, that's wrong. Really not sure what this is. I wish this were Unity where I could like dive into the world and understand the perspective, like swim around, see what's going on. Yeah. No idea. Maybe I should just leave well enough as it is. Or am I dead wrong? Oh, that's kind of cool. I think that's kind of the effect I was looking for. So by adding some depth to the vector, we're getting like a real rotation. Actually, based on the perspective of the post, it should probably be coming forward, right? Yeah. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'm keeping that. I gave these class names, didn't I? What was it? Sign. Logo sign. So that's just going to be our regular transform, and then we're going to have hover state. Hover and focus. Have I done that wrong? Does it need to be that? Do I have pointer events none on this? I probably do. Auto. Pointer events all. Will that get me there? It's one of those things of like how many of these do I need? How many colons? Just tiny thing that I absolutely should know the answer to, but I have no confidence in. SAS hover selector. Okay. So we just need the one and hover focus. So that should be working. Oh, is it because I'm setting this here? So maybe if I go important. So pointer events should be working. Just the hover event is not. Maybe if I set that on the parent object. It's weird. Am I just missing something completely basic? Like this logo sign class is being used. It's got focus events, hover events. It's got the listener for it. It's just not working. Sorry, my dog is crying. So I'm either gonna give her a big hug or kick her out so Rosie can give her a big hug. Be right back. We're back. I lied. I also went to the bathroom. Cool. So what the hell is going on with this guy? So we've got hover and focus selector and telling it to rotate. And yet it just ain't doing it. Like is it something about this syntax? If I just have it like that, Is it gonna work? Wait, why is that not working? Okay, oh it was. So I was wondering, was it like hovering, but I just was missing it because it was too fast? But I don't think that's the case. So it's simply these selectors are not working. Oh. What the fuck? Okay, so it is working, but it's hitting the entire width, which we've established as being way too wide. So let's see. Can I make this not be full width? No, I can't. That breaks everything. Oh, right. So the signpost can be full width, but this one doesn't have to be. Width, onset, margin, auto. Okay. That seems to do it. So logo sign, width, onset, margin, auto. So now it's staying centered. The hover event is working. Why was having the focus thing on it breaking it? That's weird. I think that transition's a bit too fast, I think. Let's go 0.5. Yeah. We'll see if that's what we want down the line, but it's a bit of fun. Kind of a proof of concept that it works. That's something I might want to build into. Yeah, maybe should this be would this be a good time to go on a bit of a detour and play with adding to LocalBoast library to give this a new haptic option. So what I'm talking about in LocalBoast, localboast.com/docs. Yeah, so there's a hook called use haptic, and a wrapper component called haptic that just is like, if you've got a thing on the page that you want to, like, when you see, when I hover over these, they get bigger. And when I click them, it kind of pops in and out. That's all done through this just haptic component, which is just a customizable way of having things be responsive. And they also work on focus and click. So like, I think that could be a way to have like an option in haptic to spin. That could be a fun thing to do. I could just have it be a separate component, be like, but I think haptic, I should probably Google the word haptic, because I've been using it as just to be like, give some visual feedback, but it probably just means sense of touch. Okay, so it's relating to the sense of touch, relating to the perception and manipulation of objects. Okay, so I think it does make sense for it to be referring to things just getting bigger, but also things like rotating when you hover over them. Okay, cool. I'm glad I Googled that. I stand by it now. Yeah, so screw it. I'm going to add this into the use haptic hook. So let's go there and start adding this in. So use haptic type might just be a good name for the attribute. So if we call it type, and so we'll go for an enum haptic type. Pop. Yeah, I'm gonna call it pop. Pop. I always forget how enums are meant to be written. Component theme. Primary equals primary. Equals. Yeah, TypeScript is weird. Like interfaces, types, and enums I feel like they've all got a very similar way of writing them, but each of them has their nuances, and it's quite annoying. So pop, give it the same name. Spin. Cool. So type will be haptic type, and the default will be spin. Haptic type dot pop. I just said it would be spin by default, didn't I? Wait, what? Haptic type does not exist on use haptic properties. Oh, it's just type. I'm a dumb. So type is haptic type. So as well as being haptic type, it needs to be or key of type of haptic type, which means that this value can either be an actual haptic type dot value, or it can just be the string literals that are represented by those types. Sweet. Okay, so the typings and stuff should all be set up now. I simply need to actually use it. So where are we? So this, I think, is the core that handles this stuff. Oh, this is gonna take some thinking, because basically the entire haptic hook is written with the assumption that we're clicking and hovering. So clicked. It's focused, it covers focus and hover. Cool. Okay. So let's see how we're going to do this. We could just wrap this all in a big condition. If type is equal to haptic type, click. Could just do that. What is it? Merged options dot type. Pop. This is one way to go about it, and it seems to be the way I'm going about it. Maybe it's dual refactor, but for now, this is how we're going about it. I'm wondering, are the 7 people in chat just people idling or AFK when we got raided, didn't realize they joined another stream? If so, I'm happy for it. But if there's anyone actually watching, maybe let me know in chat. Or let me know by following. Actually, yeah, let's gonna take a quick little detour, because I'm already getting bored of working on the code base. And I am going to set a new goal, because we hit our current goal. Our current goal is 25 followers, and we're on 26 now. So starting a new goal. It's suggesting I go up to 40. That's silly. The goal amount will be 30 followers. Oh,
New follower, Skippy Blender.
Gonna need to set a new goal real soon. Thank you very much for following, Skippy Blender. Oh, and you too. Cell Shell Seashore.
New
God
follower,
damn.
Cell Shell Seashore.
You're just trying to test out the text-to-speech, aren't you? Throw out some tongue twisters. Well, goddamn, thank you so much for following, everyone. Yeah, so I guess a 30 follower goal isn't too silly. We get to, yeah, screw it. Leave it at the default. Start goal. There we are. 28 now. Yeah, we're getting real close. And I will end the stream when I hit 30. Which is also as true of just my age. 29 now. And once I hit 30, you're all dead to me. Like, give up. But for now, we can have a fun time. Right. What was I working on? So I've made it so that all this logic of scaling only happens when we have clicked. So I guess I'll just go elsewhere. Like I say, this is very much due a refactor once I've given it some actual thought of how I want this to be laid out. But this is just a way of making it work now. I have one way of doing things, and now this is the second way of doing things. I am going to change this up to be like specific to this use case, but any fool could see that this is a lot of code duplication and definitely needs to be cleaned up. Okay, so we don't want to play around with the scale here. We want to play with the rotation. What would it be? 3D rotation? Rotation 3D? I don't know. What are we actually going to be using this for? So scale being... click scale multiply. Oh god, this is a funky thing that I've written here, isn't it? Because I made the haptic have like a built-in scale amount, and then I have an option that's a multiplier that's like starts at 1. So that's why it's doing like 1 minus scale multiplier times the base. It's like real complex. I'm just going to get rid of all this because we don't care about this in this instance because we're just doing rotation. Yeah, so I think we can leave the milliseconds because what all these conditions we're doing is determining how quickly the transition should happen. The reason for that being that in the haptic component, basically I want it to be like, I want it to be able to be controlled how quickly it responds to the different events. So like, zoom in so you can see this. So like, it takes like half a second or so to like get bigger when you hover over it, but then if you click it, oh yeah, this one doesn't respond to click, sorry. But when you click it, it's much more and returns at a different rate to counteract how much it has to scale and all this stuff, and all that's like different to just the hover. So that's why these conditions are changing the transition milliseconds. And so I'll just leave them as is for now in response to the rotation. And what I need to do is play with the rotation amount. So what would be a nice way to do this? The spec has it be spins on hover and tap. So I'm wondering if what a nice way to go about it might be to have that when you hover over it, it just sort of like teeters as if like suggestion that it can rotate, but then when you click it, it actually spins. I think that would be fun. So if it's focused, let's say rotation, I'll just be a bit opinionated for now and say that the rotation will be like a fixed number, that we're not going to mess with like 3D rotation, get all the attributes scaled in the right way. Or should there be like should we be able to control the rotation vector through a prop? Maybe. Yeah. I wonder with 3D rotation, if you have the forward vector, does a 3D rotation just act like a normal 2D rotation? So that'd be 0, 0, 1, right? Yeah. So we could have all the rotations happen in 3D with the default vector being 0, 0, 1. I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna need to add that in here too. A to-do write explanation. Don't want to have to write documentation on stream, especially while I'm still figuring out how the hell this API is going to work. Rotation vector. And And what is a way of specifying like a 3n array in TypeScript? Of set length. No. There it is. Okay. Simple. It's dummy. Of course. So number in an array, and that's optional. The default value. Export const forward vector. It's just going to be 0, 0, 1. Rotation vector. The default value is going to be the forward vector. Cool. Why is it not like that? As const. No, that's annoying. Okay. If I set this as number, that seems weirdly restrictive of TypeScript, that I can't assign an array that has 3 numbers to a value that has to be an array that has 3 numbers. It's a little silly. Yeah, it really should just be that, like, at the point of updating it to have more than 3, it becomes problematic. But I guess with things like array.push and array.pop, it's pretty hard for them to detect all changes to the array, so I'll give them a pass on this one. All right, so what was I doing? Rotation deg 0. So if we are focused, rotation deg. So with this one, we can probably just have this be, I don't think we need to do any like multipliers. It's just like the rotation is a fixed amount. So that can just be in the options as well. So focus rotation, it's going to be a number. Click rotation, going to be a number. And I don't think we need any of the returning stuff. Right? Probably not. Basically, with the haptic, currently it's got like a rotation, or no, a returning state. So after it's been clicked, that it like slowly animates back to its normal state. But I don't think we need that for the rotation. Yeah. Because we don't want it to like unrotate. We want it to be consistent. Oh, is it gonna... Shit. When we rotate it, it's gonna try to like unrotate when we set it back to 0, aren't we? Where are we? Over here. Yeah. So I guess at the point of rotating, the transition ms has to be, or returning, I guess, the transition ms has to be 0. Returning transition ms should be 0, which means that there won't be any rotation. No visible rotation anyway. So merged options dot rotation, focus rotation. And when you're clicked, the rotation degree will be merged options dot click rotation. So then down here where we're actually using this, yeah, I'm just going to need to do like a function to generate this. Because previously it was just assuming the transform would just have to be the scale. attribute. But now we need to consider rotation. Get transform. What value do we need? Scale, rotation, forward. Back. Nope. Rotation deg. And merged options. Dot forward vector. Nope. Rotation vector, sorry. There we go. So now we just need this get transform function. Rotation deg. Merged options ref. We need to reference it as a ref because otherwise our memoization will be fucked. So I'll just make a little function to help us get the transform. So this is gonna scale, rotation deg, and rotation vector. These are screw up. Scale. Sometimes I hate TypeScript because it's a pain in the ass to have to retype all this when you're deconstructing arguments. What? Why is it not like that? Finding element number implicitly as any type. Fuck. Maybe when I finish defining the function, it will realize what's happening. Because I don't think I'm wrong. Number. I've written that a few times now, so I'm going to make a type for that called like vector. Export type vector. Number. And everywhere I have written that. Okay, are we happy now? Cool. Yeah, so it was just that it didn't realize that I was typing a function. Cool. Yeah, screw it. I need to put a type in here as well. Type is haptic type. So I'll stick that in here. Merged options ref dot current dot type. Yeah, I think that works. Type. I was considering the fact that I'm using a ref. Will that mean that this can be stale? But if the value of type changes, then these values will update as well, because that's considered out here. So yeah, I'm not too worried about that. We're undefined. If I enforce that it's there. So I'm saying it's not undefined. What the shit? Come on. Oh, do I have to say it's haptic type or key of type of haptic type? Does that work? Yeah, that seems to work. Vector or undefined. Yeah, there we go. Because we are merging in default options, so those are all going to exist. So we can say that they definitely exist. If type is equal to haptic type dot pop what's a way to construct this? No, I was trying to get the previous thing. There we go. So this is our new transform. So yeah, I'll just define that out there. Transform. It's just a string. So transform equals this. Else transform equals rotate 3D. Rotate 3 lowercase d. Okay. Okay. Rotate 3D. What's a handy way of stringifying this array? 1, 2, 3. Dot 2 string. I'll just do that. Rotation vector. Yeah, it's going to string it anyway. And then rotation deg. Return transform. Sweet. Okay, so it's definitely not going to work great because of the way of like set the click and stuff. Or maybe it will work great. I don't know. Let's try it out in Storybook. So I'm going to make a new story for it. Ooh, do I not have individual stories for it? I've just got like a single demo. Over here then. Haptic, props 4. And this one will be it'll be a spinner. Type spin. Wow, that's loud. Okay. And I'll just fork that first one, stick that in here. Cool. So let's see if that works at all. What am I doing? LocalBoast, yarn, storybook. Okay. So this is all happening within the use haptic hook. Wasn't it? Use haptic demo. Oh shit. I didn't. I don't think I need to. Basically, I build my stories with a script and I didn't rerun the script, but the script is using a thing that I changed, so that's fine. Okay, so it's not doing anything. It's not rotating at all. Why is that? I'm probably just not constructing the transform correctly, but... So it is getting transform scale 1. Which isn't right. So I'm setting type to be spin. Where is transform set? Is it set in any other place? No, it's simply set here. It's weird. When in doubt, assume it's a caching issue. So I'll generate my readmes and restart. Weird song. Better song. What am I doing? Use haptic. So why on earth would that be getting transform scale? That just means that it's not getting the The hell? React inspector not working. Oh. I don't know. Haptic demo. Okay. So we're down here. So he's using a bunch of hooks here. I can't see what arguments are being passed to the hook in the inspector. That's annoying. And I can't zoom in either. So there's a memoized value that has rotate 3D set in it. Right, okay. Am I breaking it in the demo here? Oh yeah, shit. Spreading in the wrong goddamn props. I'm a dummy. But it's still not working. It is getting the thing though. It's just not responding to it. On hover, nothing's changing. On focus, nothing's changing. I'm just going to stick a breakpoint in. So if merged options, so we're in here. Debouche. Come on. Sorry, just got the when are you finishing question. So I'm probably going to wrap this up in like 20-ish minutes, mainly because that will see me having streamed for about 4 hours. God damn. Time flew by. And hopefully I can get this rotation stuff working by then. So we are hitting this debugger at least. That's good. Clicked. What the fuck? Hover. Okay. So it's detecting the hover events. Why is it going in here if clicked is false? Firefox debugger is just a piece of shit. I'm switching over to Chrome. Like it's baffling how bad Firefox debugging is compared to Chrome. Just that like the breakpoints were just objectively wrong there. So, wait, what? Oh no. Chrome's doing the same thing. Don't do this to me, Chrome. So focused is true. So it should be going in here, right? Yeah, okay. Focus rotation is undefined. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I forgot to set default values for those. I am brilliant. Focus rotation. Click rotation. I'll have click rotation be a full 360 and focus rotation be 20. I think it'd be nice if it like didn't just rotate when you hover, but it did sort of like a whoop, so like it rotate and then go back. So I might need to add in custom logic for that, but we'll see. Oh, see that shit? Oh, and I click it. Does a little spin. That spin is way too fast though. So we're going to need some extra timings for that. So I guess we can keep using the focus and click MS values. I'll just pass them in the demo. Actually, yeah, don't even need to pass them in the demo because they are customizable through the demo because this is Storybook. So we can oh shit, yeah, I'm dumb. Am I dumb? Yeah, I didn't even need a new example here because this is Storybook. So yeah. Okay, no, I'll leave that one as being getting rotated. But this is controllable, so you can make them all spin. Oh, that's way too fast. But I can control that. So where is it? Click MS. I'll set that to 300. So now, whoa. So that actually handles so well. I love that. Ooh. I'm really chuffed that I put this into the haptic library. It's perfect. I'm going to use this all over the place now. Isn't that fun? Okay, so that's there. I'll build the library so that we can use that in the website we're building. Yarn build. So haptic should get that by default. In fact, it should even be testable over here. Type spin. It's not working. Right, I think haptic needs to explicitly pull it in, yeah. Shit, that's annoying. So these new attributes I added.
New follower, How to Software Engineer.
Thank you very much, How to Software Engineer. You just got us one follower away from the follower goal. We had a follower goal of 25 earlier, and then we just smashed that, absolutely. So yeah, current follower goal 30, and once I hit it, I've said I'll end the stream. So you've... New
follower, expandedcuber __.
I just said it. I just said I would end the stream. Okay, I guess you guys don't want to watch me. Yeah, really appreciate everyone who's followed today. I do need to wrap it up around now anyway, so I'll use this as my good time to exit. I'm aiming for streaming around 2 or 3 times a week. If you want to, don't unfollow. You're not allowed. I am wrapping it up anyway. Yeah, if you want to watch again, we have a Discord. I'll throw that into the chat if I can. Where am I? Oh, I'm figuring out my own tech. Yeah, I have a Discord where I try to post when I'm going live. Also, I have a YouTube channel, LocalBoast. And also, yeah, been trying to post videos there about coding. It's going all right. But there's a bunch of links. Where am I? Sorry, I was navigating to the right window. Links. What the fuck? Oh shit, I got my links wrong. There we go. There's all my links. And if you want to follow on the Discord to see when I'm going live next, or just follow along with what I'm doing, there's that link. Yeah, thank you so much. I've gone from 21 followers to 30 in a single day, which is about 3 times my previous record. So thank you so much. And yeah, just have a great day. I will probably continue what I'm working on next time. But yeah, have a great day, everyone. I would raid since all ye came. Actually, screw it. I'll try to figure out how raid works because most of the people watching right now came to me from a raid. So okay, I need to find someone to raid. So let's do that. This is fun. We're gonna figure out how rating works. I am on the wrong screen, haven't I? What is going on? Are you guys just seeing at chat sketch? How did I do that? Okay, sorry. My tech setup is so bad. I was looking at the wrong monitor entirely. Yeah, let's pick a channel to raid. Twitch.tv. And how do I browse categories? Live channels. Oh, I was hoping under the language tab, I was hoping there'd be like JavaScript. React. Oh, they're doing well. No, they don't need the viewers. Oh, there's a bunch of people just reacting to stuff. I can't tell what here is programming. Screw it. This guy's coding. I'll rate him. I'm doing a real bad job here. God. Oh god, I do not understand my own coding setup. I'm copying this on my coding laptop, and I need to be doing this on my streaming PC. The Prime agent. Can you tell I'm a professional streamer? Raid. Oh my god. Why do you guys watch me? And he's not even allowing rating. That was a complete failure. I give up. If anyone's still listening, have a good day. Go watch some smaller creator. Even smaller than me, if it's possible. Bye now.